Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from Mailfuzz TV. I am Peter, and I am joined, as always, by Matt.
Hey, I'm back, I think.
Oh, that's right, you were gone last week, I forgot that.
Yeah, as always, except last week.
And that's all that's here, no one else is here this week. It's a Doomsday Clock week, so as always, it's just me and Matt for these episodes. They had to ruin my joke by speaking before I did that, but I was going to do that. I was hoping the audio people would actually think he wasn't here for about 5 seconds until he started complaining that I'd, blanked his introduction.
That's why I didn't feel the need to really fight back, because I'd already done it. I preempted it.
Connor ruining things. Par for the course, I guess. A regular episode of Comics from the Multiverse. Connor's ruining things. Alright, so, we talk about comics, DC Comics specifically, and coming up on this week's show is a huge show because we have Doomsday Clock number 4, but we also have Dark Knight's Metal number 6, which is the end of that event, and teases a lot of things coming up. So we got those as the headliners, but we also have Detective Comics 977, Wonder Woman 43, Flash 43, Batgirl 21, Hal Jordan, The Green Lantern Corps 41, The Terrifics number 2, Teen Titans 18, Mera, Queen of Atlantis number 2, and The Silencer number 3. What strikes me funny about that big list of books is that next month is going to feel anemic in comparison because the 2 event books are going to be gone.
Yeah. I think this is the time where I'm kind of glad that there's no action at the minute.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that helps us.
That would have been another issue this week. That as much as
that'll still be gone next month as well.
Right, but obviously, if they just kept the schedule instead, because originally they weren't pushing it right, they were just keeping the schedule, so that 1,000 would have been this week as well.
I mean, who's to say though that? Oh, that's true. Yeah, but who's to say like they would have done something different? Maybe they pushed it that way because Bendis was coming, or maybe they pushed it that way because it was the 80th anniversary or whatever. But
yeah, I think it was the anniversary is why they did it. But I think the original plan was to just have it out on regular schedule, so that would have been...
Yeah, the 1,000s would have been this week. Yeah.
Bendis is coming, you say?
Bendis is coming. In fact, we get a new round of Bendis is coming because the first one had the Superman font, this one had the Action Comics font this week.
Just what we all wanted, right?
Yep. It makes me laugh every time I read it because I'm like, I always want to forward it to Connor. Look at this.
Bendis came again.
Right for Connor.
We do have some news as well. Obviously, we had a lot of news last week. Matt wasn't here for all the. I'll just in one word, Matt. Your feelings on Odyssey and Dark.
You got Sejek drawing Starfire. That's the only thing that matters. So
that wasn't one word. That was a lot more than one word. That was just. I was one simple word is all I was asking.
Also, Wonder Woman on a Justice League Dark team is weird, but cool.
Oh yeah, but Darkseid on Odyssey's not.
No, we don't know about that.
Yeah, that was adorable. Wonder Woman on a dark team, though. That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
So we did have some news, though. We had one bit of Fallout news from WonderCon itself. Something that we amusingly actually was kind of discussing last week as well. And then they kind of answered it like an hour after we stopped recording. So we'll do that first. So that is the Green Arrow is going to be taken over officially by the Benson sisters in August. They're doing the annual, which I think is next month?
Yeah.
Or May, whatever the week 5 is. There's an annual number 2 coming out with the Bensons, and Scott Snyder mentioned during the panel, he casually said, and what the Bensons are doing with Green Arrow, and we had a bit of a debate last week about, did he just accidentally drop that they're taking over Green Arrow, or was he just referencing the annual? And I think we said it could go either way, just based on the way he said it, and sure enough, about an hour after we stopped recording, they officially came out with it.
Yeah, I don't think they came out with it because he said that, though, because it was at another panel. So it was like it seems like it was a scheduled announcement.
That's fair. So
all I know is he was spoiling stuff left and right. I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, after Metal number 6, he feels like, there's a lot of stuff you probably should have said before we did this.
So I was looking at Didio as he was giving him those looks, going, now I know what those looks were about. He wasn't just playing it up.
Yeah. So not only do we have them on Green Arrow, we also have Javier Fernandez on the art. Alex Maleev is doing covers as well. So this all starts in August with Green Arrow number 43.
Oh my god, you have Coipel and Maleev doing DC covers. I never thought I'd see the day.
I know, right? On top of that, it's worth mentioning that they confirmed that Black Canary is going to still be in the book, Emmy's still going to be in the book, and Roy is going to be in the book. So, which makes it good sense for Roy, especially since he doesn't seem like he's going to be on a Titans team post No Justice, so he'll be a supporting character in Green Arrow going forward. So
that's cool. I wasn't a huge fan of the Birds of Prey stuff that I tried, but I'll give it a shot.
It got better as it went along.
That's fair.
And
after Percy had it for so long, it'll be nice to see something new, so a new voice, and we'll see. But I'm not. The Green Arrow's not one of those characters that I'll always pick up no matter what. So
Yeah, it's not something that I'm like, I'm excited for this, but yeah, I'll check it out. It could be cool.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with it. Obviously, we've got some fill-ins before we get to that, so we'll have a few voices over the next 3 months.
Yeah,
so
proper little palate cleanser.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do. Could be good, could be bad. We'll find out. But we'll get a teaser of what their run's going to be like with their annual, I think, in May. So that's the Green Arrow news. Next up, we mentioned obviously Teen Titans last week. We mentioned that we had Robin, Emmy, and Kid Flash on the team, but we didn't know who the rest were. And we speculated, and it turned out again. Like the next day, they revealed, it's actually new characters with these 3. It's not going to be other characters you know. So we have 3 new characters. This is going to be Adam Glassie's Teen Titans. So we have Crush, who is Lobo's illegitimate daughter. We have Roundhouse, who's like a Genki looking kid who has like he can change his body into like different types of things, but he can form a wrecking ball. He can roll up into a ball, and he's called Roundhouse, so that makes sense. And then Jin, who is it's funny. Adam Glass even mentioned, at first she's going to seem like a Raven knockoff, but there's stuff that's going to separate her from that once we get into it. So it says here that she was trapped in her bottle for thousands of years, and only now is she got out, and now she's like a teenager. So she's still an adolescent, but she's actually technically been alive for thousands of years.
My familiarity with mythology is Jin's just an evil genie. That's got bad news written all over it.
I don't think they're even always evil, from what I've heard.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Just I think it's just like some cultures just refer to them as jinn.
Yeah, well, Jin is Arabic for genie. It's actually literally just that word.
Okay, well then all the mythology I've ever come across, they're just always bad. It's always bad news. It's like Volthoom in the Ring for Jessica. That was kind of based off of a jinn. But yeah. Well, shows you how much I know. Thank you, mythology, for leaving me alone again.
Well, the best movie about a jinn ever is a genie slasher movie called The Outing from the 80s. I highly recommend.
Yeah, and I got so excited you were going to say Kazam starring Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh God, no! What? I mean, it's still kind of a joke answer because it's not exactly a good movie, but I like it. But yeah, I'm not saying Kazam. Kazam's terrible. I hate that movie with every fibre of my being.
He makes it rain junk food.
That's not even fun bad. That's just bad.
I saw that movie twice in the theaters.
What is wrong with you, Matt?
So my mom took me and then my dad took me, and I didn't tell my dad that my mom took me. And I was like, I'm seeing too. I was a dumb
Jesus
kid.
Christ. What did you think it said Shazam? He got confused. Thought, it's a Captain Marvel movie.
No, I just really loved basketball back in the day. I saw Space Jam like 4 times in the theater.
That's fine. Space Jam's good.
Space Jam's good for what it was, yeah.
Sure. You don't want to know how many times I saw Steel in the theater. I'm going to leave that alone.
Has at least one good line of dialogue, though. There's a line, Shaft at one point. Well, at one point, Shaft, when he's talking about his hammer, he's like, I really like the shaft. The shaft's the best part. I'm like, yeah, very funny. But at one point he says, I'll be dipped in shit and rolled in breadcrumbs, and I thought that was a pretty good line. So I'll give him points for that. So
what was the news we were talking about there
Teen Titans, new characters.
Oh, yeah. I think Lobo's daughter's an interesting one, because we've always been told, he's the last of his species.
Yeah.
So, interesting to see how they play on that stuff.
Yeah, they mentioned she's never met her father. So
cool.
Although Lobo, the Zarnians can clone themselves from a single drop of blood. So,
yeah,
we'll see how this plays out.
So yeah, a story about her meeting Lobo for the first time is no doubt going to be something that happens at some point in the run, I would imagine. So there you go. So
it actually feels like they're going to play that like Raven and Trigon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so 2 of them are knockoff Ravens. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Trigon's like this big, huge, evil demon, whereas Lobo is just this big, dumb, like smashy guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, Roundhouse is the one who's the most appealing, just from images and concept.
He reminds me of the kid from Christopher the Wilder People. That's also going to be in Deadpool.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Like, he's got that vibe to him.
I'm getting that, and also, like, I don't know, it's kind of like you take Chunk from the Goonies and you make him the one who's got the powers.
Yeah.
I'm getting that kind of vibe from him.
Kind of like Gold Balls and Bendis' X-Men.
Yeah. I'm getting those kind of vibes. There you go. And then the last bit of news. This is one we kind of knew about already because we had that leak along with the Justice League trade from before that revealed the lineup. But Sam Humphries is officially taking over Harley Quinn later on in the year with issue 45 starting in July. We have John Timms doing the art, but we actually have like a bit of interesting like what's it about kind of thing here. So here's the official word that we got. So yeah, so they have Harley kidnapped by two female Furies from Apocalypse, who deliver her to one of Darkseid's elite, Granny Goodness, with an offer she can't refuse. Join the Furies, get superpowers, and do anything she wants. It's a sweet deal, and all Harley needs to do in return is hunt down a rogue Fury. And Harley's got a design that's kind of Big Barda-esque.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic looking.
Yeah, so you get...
I'm more surprised that they're not relaunching.
At number one?
Yeah, for Harley.
They're not doing that with Titans either. They're literally only doing that with Justice League.
The Titans, I understand
Superman.
though, because whatever's going to happen can fall out of there. But the main Harley book's been so detached from the regular DC that I'm just surprised they didn't just put a cap on that and just let Humphries do number one.
I think maybe what they're doing with this by not doing it with this one is saying, no, when we relaunch to number one, it's because it's a really big deal. It's not just a new run, it's a big deal. And, you know, Snyder taking over Justice League, Bendis taking over Superman, they're saying those are big deals. And, yeah, sure, we're excited for, you know, Percy on Nightwing, we're excited for Humphries on Harley, but it's not earth-shaking change.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's, you know, I just figured that's like an era of Harley, you know what I mean? Like, the Connor and Palmiotti stuff.
Yeah, they're getting omnibus.
They've done like 100-something issues.
Yeah, but they've got an omnibus volume 1 coming out, so they're going to have like 2 or 3 omnibus.
I mean, they did about 40 issues of this series, maybe slightly less in Rebirth. They did at least 30 odd before, plus a bunch of minis and other stuff that they've done.
Oh yeah, the Gang of Harleys. Mini,
yeah,
all that stuff too. So
the Harley and Power Girl stuff that they did.
Yeah.
But hey, I guess I'll be trying a Harley Quinn issue when this hits, just to see how different it is and see if it's good.
Hey, it sounds pretty great so far.
It's an interesting concept, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Harley on the Furies, why not? So, there you go, that's the news. So, relatively light compared to the last few weeks. I think last week we were like 50 minutes something before we got to the books. So, hey.
But we're under 15 this week. We're doing good.
I know, we're doing good. Which is good, because the books are big. we have epic books. So let's try and wake up Matt, because he's over there being all sleepy. He was complaining he had only 6 hours sleep, which is actually less than I think Connor and I both had, and we were fine.
Yeah, I'm not used to that. I need at least 7.
And Connor's got a hangover as well.
I had 6, but it was just I had a long productive day yesterday, so you know.
What's that?
Yeah, right.
Madness. And Connor's drunk because we watched Arrow together last night, and that means he was drinking.
It was, and I passed out.
He took a drunk nap. It's not just a nap.
I got 3 hours, which I fell asleep while drunk. So you guys don't drink, so you don't really get this, but the drunk sleep is the worst sleep of your life. You fall asleep instantly, but you wake up feeling completely unrested.
I had those when I played football, where we had 2 practices. We'd have one in the morning and one at night. And so you'd get home around 8, get into bed, and it feel like you just close your eyes, and then your alarm's going off at 6 the next morning to go do it again. And it was terrible. Yeah, like, the reason why it was called Hell Week.
That's what it sounds like. So I've got my my hydration fluid to get me through this.
Hydration, just energy drink or.
Yeah, but it's not an energy drink, because that's different.
There's no
but don't call it fluid. It's a drink. It's a juice.
It is. Yeah, but hydration fluid sounds better.
It's called Connorade.
Connorade.
Sure.
Yeah.
Connorade. We'll be having a concert in 20 years' time called Connorade to help with his demented ginger disease.
No, we're putting him through rehab. It's Connorade.
Connorade. Can we get you two? Can Bono come and sing a song about Connor?
I don't want Bono.
We'll talk for getting Bono then.
God damn it. Can't you at least give me someone good?
I'll be reaching out to Bono first now that I know you don't like him. I'm like, hey Bono, I know you're like 85 now by the time this is all going down, but still, you know what? Come sing a song.
Charity, dude. That's how you get Bono to do anything. It's charity.
Yeah. Do it pro bono.
You could leave your glasses on. Good, I wasn't taking them off.
Right, yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about books. Let's stop dilly-dally to get to some comics, because we got some big stuff. So it says something that Dark Knight's Metal's out, and it's the last issue, but it's still not headlining, because Doomsday Clock comes first.
Yeah, the power of Johnson Frank.
Yeah.
That overrules everything.
There was an hour debate as to which to go first, but I thought, no, we'll keep it consistent, because Doomsday Clock will be going first every other time. So it's happening. So, this is Doomsday Clock number 4, Geoff Johns and Gary Frank. Obviously, we didn't get one last month, because we've switched to the every other month schedule. So,
this
it
is
was...
bullshit. Not the issue. This schedule is killing me.
It's upsetting, yes, because we like it a lot.
This was probably the thing that I was most excited for since Rebirth. Like, we started getting the hints of it and whatnot, and now it's because it's not really a delay because it's built in.
I mean, this one was technically a delay because this one was meant to come out last month and get pushed.
Yeah,
but yeah, the rest of all just technically on schedule.
And not that I'm not enjoying it, but it wins out of the sales a bit, you know. So.
No, I get that. It's the same way I felt like through. I think Pete was talking about the way he talked about Metal after that huge rush of here's books every week.
Yeah.
And then you're waiting a full month.
Yeah, I had more of an issue with that with Metal because that was like 2 months of like issues every single week, and then all of a sudden there was like time built between issues. It was weird.
Right. I think, but it's a similar effect here where the books are, the quality hasn't changed. It's just the extra weight feels so much more. So it's like you're overhyping it a bit more because you're waiting for it.
I mean, I have absolutely zero disappointments about this issue, but
I was tad disappointed, but we'll get there.
I wouldn't say I'm disappointed, but I'd say it's hands down the weakest issue of the 4.
Can you guess what my disappointment is?
I think it's the least exciting issue because it's so focused on one thing. So it's not we're not getting a lot of like the threads from before. There's no Mime Marionette. There's no Luther. There's no like all these things.
The stuff I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
None of that. Instead, they make it a direct, like, what happened after Watchmen issue. And I'm just kind of like, I like Watchmen, but I like this other stuff way more.
Describe. I mean, it does kind of do that. I wouldn't describe it that way. This is clearly the spiritual successor to the Rorschach issue in the original Watchmen, because it is kind of neat how the last issue ended with him going to Arkham, and just like the original Watchmen, the following issue after Kovacs got arrested is like the issue focused on him with a psychiatrist in the prison. This is what this issue is. It's this Rorschach's version of that.
It is. I think the problem is I don't know if I needed it yet. Like I don't know if I needed this extent of an issue for this Rorschach.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of up to.
I would have loved an extra issue of him interacting with the people of Arkham first. Like they tease about Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And the zebra face guy, I don't know his name. Let's call him Zebrahead from henceforth. And then they tease Harvey Dent. So it would have been cool to see this guy from a really twisted world react to Arkham, but for a couple issues, and then get what was in his head, why he's so messed up and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean,
instead we go this route.
I would agree it's the least exciting one so far, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm disappointed in any way. Like, I still think it was solid. I still think it did everything it wanted to do. I was still excited as I was reading it. The ending, of course, left me with a twinge of, like, oh.
No, it's still a good issue, don't be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it feels weaker than the other 3, because the other 3 all give me really exciting things, constantly, all the way through all the issues. What's this? Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, I'm like, okay, this is solid storytelling.
Yeah, this is the story of how he, of course, turns out to be Mal's son, the psychiatrist from the original, which basically was the best guess anyone had because it was the only thing that made any sense.
I'm sure we discussed that as one of the options.
Unless it was someone that we'd never met before, it had to be.
Which honestly, I was leaning more towards. I feel like okay, so it's the one possible connection to a character from the first book that it could have been.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we need to do that, but hey, I do like it in the sense, though, because we find out that afterwards, like, when, we'll talk about Mothman in a bit, but when he gets the box of stuff back and he starts reading through his dad's journals of, like, talking to Rorschach, and I'm like, okay, right, so I see how this kind of leads to him taking on this and kind of becoming Rorschach himself. I'm like, okay, right. So that's kind of the through line. So that works well enough, and we kind of find out that everyone who was sort of on the outskirts of the New York disaster kind of... They survived, but they went insane. Like the sight of this and like going through it was just so brutal.
Yeah, it's this this form of PTSD, and they start blaming it on the alien squid. But we all know that the squid wasn't alien, right? It was a creation of Veet.
Right.
So, so it broke all their psyches that this happened, and Veet, who tried to make everybody unify around this, did the opposite.
We do know though that the squid did have some psychic properties, so that might have actually enhanced the effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like an alien invasion like they were chalking it up to. Like, no. That's what
but I think what we're saying though is that's why they've went crazy. It's not just PTSD from seeing the explosion or whatever. It's more from like the effects of this
the psychic blowout sort of thing that kind of they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, think of it as a psychic shockwave, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And it really affected him because he was at ground zero, and it's almost because of that. Seeing his parents did die, right?
That's they're dead. They're dead or undead.
Yeah. They were there, and the combination of that and then trying to heal from it in this really broken world while reading Rorschach's journals, probably not the best recipe for a healthy mind.
Just to clarify, it's his dad's journals, not Rorschach's journals.
Well, yeah, but it's all based off Rorschach, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just before someone corrects you in the comments, so I'm just making clear word.
Yeah. It's all his dad's notes on Rorschach.
If I can stop people from having the ability to correct us, I will.
Gotcha.
Nothing pleases me more than denying that right. Like, no, this was accurate, damn it. You can't do
Is that why you're so mean to Connor all the time?
No, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Okay, that was my best guess.
Yeah, so I mean, much like Nissa on Arrow this week, therein lies the fun. So
wait.
Let's not drag Doomsday Clock down with this.
Let's not. I'm just gonna say.
Do that when we're talking about.
She's an Algol, right?
She is an Algol, yes. Nissa Algol.
Right.
And she easily had her best episode ever this week because she was tormenting Felicity, and it was glorious.
It was.
Anyway, so we get all this stuff. He befriends Mothman, this the guy who used to be a Minuteman, and he essentially trains him. And we see that he keeps escaping because he makes like his moth wings out of bed sheets and like bed springs. And like flies off the roof.
The first time you see him, he's just naked on the roof with these sheets around.
Because you think he may just be committing suicide. He's like, oh no, I can fly. He's like, I can just visualize it. And I was almost expecting a punchline where he goes out to fly and he just like lands and
Punk.
Yeah,
exactly. But no, he actually just flies off.
Yeah. And he does that, several times. Brings him back stuff. We see how awful. And what I do kind of like about this show is you see him get more unhinged and more Rorschach-like as it goes on. Because when he snaps, when the orderly smashes his dad's mug, and he just snaps, and then later on he just stabs like a guy in the hand. I'm like, this is starting to feel like Rorschach. This is a gradual transformation into him.
But where I feel like his is still more restrained, where Rorschach was always turned up to 10. He has explosive outbursts, and so I like that's how they're different, Yeah,
and obviously there's the obvious little thing of the jigsaw puzzle with the missing piece of
And who is that missing piece?
That part of Veidt's face, was it not?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's part of his face, and obviously the idea there's something right in front of us and we don't see it, and then it's like, okay, we found out that it's him, he's behind all this, which leads to him escaping, and of course we have the very big, like, glorious symbolic death of the moth to the flame as Mothman walks into the fire, because he's ready to be done. Yeah,
it's a consistent image. We have the mosquito to the light as well.
Yeah, we got the bug light and all the rest of it. Yeah, there's this thing at the end, and obviously right at the end as well, the bug that dies in the light is very Manhattan-esque, the way it like buzzes out in the light, because it's a blue light. Yeah,
I did see an interview with John's talking about this specific thematic idea, and it's the idea of we always look towards the knowledge, even though it could be dangerous. Learning more stuff.
That's the original Sin story, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't eat this fruit. Don't eat this fruit. I ate the fruit, now I'm in trouble. Like, you can't help it.
Pretty much, yeah. You know things, and therefore, okay, now there can be problems.
Yeah, because even Adrian, like when he goes to murder Adrian, he tracks him all the way to the Arctic or whatever, and he finds him, and he comes in, and he's about to kill him, and it's right. And I think we realise it because it says the public knowledge of him being behind this is actually the same year. It's 1992. That's where we started this story. So everything's happened in a condensed amount of time. From when came out. Obviously, he was in the asylum for a while, but
it's been 6 years, right? Did it take place in '86? I forget when Watchmen took place.
I forget.
That
It's around
sounds
then.
about right. Mid-80s is
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he goes and obviously maybe separating him from Rorschach because he actually doesn't go through with it because he like sees remorse in his eyes and he's like, no, we need to save the world. And obviously it's them setting off to go find Manhattan. He's going to explain stuff, but just to go along with that running metaphor is Adrian even says, I saw the light too late. You know, just this idea of seeing the light and, you know, the light being dangerous and everything else. It keeps coming back to it over the course of the issue. And even the idea for Rorschach here, this new Rorschach, is the idea that he's taught that he should see what he wants to see. And over the course of the issue, he sees, you know, he starts to see Rorschach. He starts to see what he wants to see for his own vengeance, for his own mission, for his own delusion.
It goes from seeing his parents' corpses in the Rorschach test to, you know, his new vision. And that was going after Veidt. So
yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot. I also like what it did with Frank and the Rorschach, where it was a close up on the mask, and then it becomes the ice. It's very.
It was nice.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
And obviously, I do because one of the things I was thinking about early on in the issue was like, I mean, obviously, I like the Batman put him in Arkham, but I'm like, would he really just leave and never think about him again? And then obviously the psychiatrist comes in halfway through, and it's like, okay, and his narration, like Rorschach's like, oh, he's nothing like my dad. He's colder. He's not like this. He's not like that. And then at the end, you get that little reveal where you just see the mask on the table and like a little mannequin head, and you just hear like, and you just realise it's Batman. It was him doing his disguise, like to go and
there's a little
to him.
batarang just next to it, just to make it clear.
Yeah, as if Alfred saying Mr. Wayne wasn't.
No, I know, but they
enough,
just put that there anyway. I
Yeah.
think he just wanted to just do a little visual cue as well.
Yeah, make
I
it
do
really
like
obvious.
though that Rorschach is such a study of human character that he, you know, Batman, even though he's playing a character, still can't, you know, make himself cold and, you know, at an arm's length.
Yeah.
Something I thought was interesting is we get a full panel focusing on this. Is, you know, the cell that he's in. Originally, it had, you know, we're all mad here, scratched on the wall.
Well, more specifically, it had we're all mad here originally, and then someone else scratched out the here, and it just says we're all mad.
We're all mad.
Yeah.
So two people have been in here. That's my thinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It really makes a point of focusing on that. Like,
I'm thinking
the end of this issue.
I don't know. I feel I'm trying to like make a guess as to who each of the two people were, and I feel like maybe the first one's Mad Hatter, and then the second one's Joker.
I'm confident on Mad Hatter being the one that wrote it
originally, yeah. And then maybe
you know,
Joker scratching out the here and like, no, we're just all mad.
Yeah, it could have been Joker. It could have been anyone like that.
Yeah, it could have been anyone that came through.
Yeah, just putting that in my head because obviously they released a cover for like issue 6 or 7 this week, and it was like, is this Rorschach encounter on the Joker? I'm like, oh shit, I kind of want to see that now. This is exciting times.
We'll see it in 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, shut up, Connor. Don't put a time on it. It hurts. It hurts too much.
So I'm reading this issue, and it doesn't have a lot of stuff I was really enjoying. You know, there's no Nathaniel Dust. There's no Mima Marionette. But
just to point again, to go back to the original structure of Watchmen, much like the original book, the New Frontiersman story also like paused for the Rorschach issue.
Right.
I think the Rorschach issue
I understand.
I think the Rorschach issue was issue 5 of Watchmen, so it's slightly different in that sense, but you know, minor.
No, that's all fine because these aren't really complaints. They're just observations as I'm reading, and I'm going, okay, Rorschach.
I think the problem is, to me at least, the new Rorschach is maybe the least interesting part of everything that has been established so far. Yeah,
I'd maybe agree with that, but I would very strongly add on to it. Least interesting does not mean not interesting, I guess is what I'd add on.
That's
again,
fair.
I'm not upset with what I read. I'm fine with it. But as I'm going, where's my hooks? Like this Rorschach stuff, it's fine.
Well, it just, I mean, at the very least, Matt, there was one big hook for you at the end because
I was building there. You're another one that's rushing through things. I'm trying to set up a story, and then because as he's in there, they don't know his name. He's John Doe, and they put him across from Jane Doe.
Because we see them walking past various doors, and we see like one's like Croc and one's whoever, and
one's
various,
Dan.
and there's a Jane Doe who's like across from him. Yeah,
Jane Doe, and then she talks.
Can I just say that some of those panels that I'm going past the doors reminded me a lot of the Killing Joke, just a little bit.
Definitely, and that can't be an accident. But nothing in this book's an accident. You know?
No, absolutely not.
No.
But I think that's why I am slightly disappointed in the issue, in the sense that everything in it is, it's good. But when I'm waiting, okay, 2 months an issue, and I've got an entire issue on the one thing that I was the least interested in, it's kind of like, damn it, now I've got to wait 2 more months to get the stuff I do want.
See, these are all valid thoughts to have, but I think I want to err on the side of playing devil's advocate here for a couple of reasons. One, first of all, the chances of this happening again are slim now that we've done it.
Yeah.
Two, this is only an issue right now. In a year's time or whatever, when this is a trade and this is a collection, I don't think anyone's going to complain about this issue. I think this is just because you're waiting between issues, and this is just the one you got this time.
That's fair, but I think we always typically mention that. We mention it all the time with books like Deathstroke, how month to month we struggle sometimes, but when when you're reading that in a trade, it's going to be fine.
Well, I think the difference is that Deathstroke's not disappointing because we're waiting between issues. It's just more confusing because it's more complex to read.
Yeah.
A lot more plot, even more than this.
Yeah. Just saying something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this is just, I wanted all the other elements that I like, and then I didn't get them this month.
Yeah.
So this Moth guy, right? I'm trying to find his DC.
Oh, that's based the Jane Doe story, Matt.
Well, no, I know, but I'm
we
going
just set that up.
Well, no, it's Saturn Girl, and she says that they have to.
He sat there and played. I've set up a story so I can build up to the hook at the end, and then
you guys put it, sidetracked it. So,
Yeah, got to come back round, Matt. Got to come back round. So yeah, Saturn Girl breaks them out. They break out together, and
she says that they have to go. They have to do this quick because she's not going to be around much longer.
And which is interesting because I'm getting some Back to the Future. I'm fading away from time vibes from that.
Yeah.
And secondly, it's important she says that she's been in his head for a couple of days, so you get the implication that all these flashbacks are something that she's also been seeing.
Well, yeah, I think that I liked it slightly more because of that, because at least it had a narrative purpose to showing us all this beyond just here's a flashback. It was like, no, this is a character witnessing this, all of it. Presumably. Yeah,
so Saturn Girl's seen all this, and they escape together at the end. And that's kind of our big leaving exciting thing for next time. I feel like next issue probably won't have as much Rorschach. It might show up towards the end with Saturn Girl, but it'll mostly probably focus on all the other things because we've just left them all for this issue.
Yeah,
the fact that all that started with the button and her freaking out during the hockey, in the hockey game. And she's too late. So has she been waiting here this whole time for Rorschach? Or is this her realizing now this is the person she can use to fix all this?
Yeah, I'd maybe... I mean, it could go either way if they want to reveal whatever, but I would guess right now she was waiting for just someone who could be useful, rather than specifically Rorschach.
Yeah, right. I think that the fact that she had to root around in his head and figure out who he was tells me that it's the latter, that, okay, she didn't know going in who this was. It's like, okay, I see what I got here. This'll work.
I just want to know how the Legion factors into this. That's all. That's my main question going forward now. Like, is it like Pete just said, it's Back to the Future, and because of Manhattan's meddling, they don't exist? So she, came back and, stuff happened.
I've been saying since the start of this that we're probably going to get that big page in the final issue, like the end of Blackest Night with the Brightest Day, everyone coming back to life. I feel like the Legion will be in that page. Like
with the JSA.
We're going to think they're vanished. We're going to think they're gone at some point in the story, and Matt's going to be depressed because it's going to be telling us, no, the Legion have been erased from time. They don't exist anymore. And then we're going to get
they've done that with all my other favorites, so just par for the course.
That guy with the Superman shirt and the jeans, him.
Yeah. Anyways,
who's that again?
No idea.
Yeah.
No, you guys don't know. That's fine. Okay. I know. I'll put a lightning rod. It's fine. but so where all that's going, I'm just trying to think again, bring it back around to Mothman and who he represents in the DC continuity. So they all kind of have a
parallel,
parallel. He's kind of an inventor because we see that he's built his moth suit and he committed himself. You get that from the letters.
It kind of reminds me of maybe like Ted Cord.
Yeah, I'm thinking. But that was kind of Night Owl.
It was, yeah. But I mean, that's a big part is the legacy, right? And the inheritance. So.
I was thinking someone like Blue Jay too, like one of these smaller members from the JSA that had a not a big impact, but he had a huge impact on Rorschach, which I liked because it almost felt like why he couldn't leave the what is it? It's not really an asylum.
The hospital.
I don't want to call it a madhouse. Yeah, the mental hospital. Yeah. Was he felt like he was never fixed. Like this, whatever was driving him to help fight crime, he was never going to get cured of. Because you find out through the letters with his sister about him being there, and it almost seems like he could leave, but he doesn't want to. So what's going on there? Was it post V? Because it seems like he had been there since at least the 70s or 60s, right? Because that's when the letter started. So, like, what had happened in between then and there? And then afterwards, he just wanted to stay. Besides the Moth of the Flame allegory and all that, you know? What was going on with his head?
Maybe more directly, I guess there is one kind of hero we know is in an old folks' home right now who's been kind of sticking around there for a while. I don't know if it in any way maybe correlates to Johnny Thunder in some way, but we know that's a thing. We know he's there. So it's interesting.
But no, I really enjoyed that his part of the story, you know, and then the back matter, dealing with all that and picking through.
Yeah, I like the Mothman stuff as well. I think it's because it felt like this kind of weird, sweet thing in a maze of like madness, where like even though he's kind of crazy, even though Rorschach's kind of crazy, he's still like teaching him proper things, and you know, it's a shimmer of hope somewhere in the middle of all that, even if it's kind of misguided in a lot of ways. Well, I guess that'll wrap up for Doomsday Clock for this issue, which I mean, unsurprisingly, is probably the shortest Doomsday Clock discussion we've had compared to the other ones.
Actually,
but
just something I thought I noticed when I was rereading. This isn't actually just to do with any of the issues in particular, but just a nice little small thing I noticed is the way it has the page numbers in the corners.
Yeah,
is very of the time.
Oh sure, yeah. I even thought about that because I noticed it in the first issue, and it's been there since.
Right, it has, but I don't think we ever mentioned it, unless you guys have mentioned it without me.
But, well, you missed 2 issues, so we might have done.
Exactly, so it's quite possible. I just thought, okay, that was a nice little touch, and
dude, we haven't gotten the Fearful Symmetry issue yet, right? This has been.
Yeah, no.
No. I look forward to that now. So now we got the solo Rorschach thing. So I look forward to John's doing his symmetrical.
Yeah, after this, we're kind of expecting some other correlating issues that kind of match up with what was in the original book.
And the other thing that I caught when I was rereading through was when they first talked about the Superman theory. They mentioned Rex Mason and
Kirk Langstrom.
Yeah, because obviously at the time there were no real plans for, but now we got Terrifics. We know where Langstrom's ending up now.
Yeah, just Sleep Dark.
It feels like okay, so they're gonna head in that direction, right? They're gonna start hinting towards those things.
Yeah, and they know they've got X amount of time before Doomsday Clock's done, and that's when it catches up with the universe, or the universe catches up with it, I should say. So maybe they'll also have some seeds in there, knowing what's coming.
Yeah.
So fun stuff. But hey, so we all move on because we have another big main event thing this week, and that is Dark Knight's Metal #6, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. And this is the big action set piece issue to wrap it all up with big ridiculous moments and possibly one or two of my favourite moments in the entire thing around this issue.
This is as metal as it gets.
I think if I'm looking back at the whole thing, critiquing it, I do think issue 4 and 5 could have probably just been smashed together into one issue. And that would have fixed some of my pacing issues.
Well, and I would have liked some more of the Wild Hunt stuff thrown in, like seeded, as this was going, instead of just all in that one issue.
Yeah,
I would have felt definitely more cohesive.
And I basically just put what was relevant in issue 4 into 5, and then made Wild Hunt the actual issue 5, and then,
that's fair.
Just pared it down a little bit. But I can't deny that I had a lot of fun with the ridiculous stuff in this one. And honestly, one of my favourite moments in this is just like that great moment where I didn't really think about it, but there's that moment of realisation when you've got the Batman who laughs, he's doing his thing, he's got the guy in the bandages, the Overmonitor, we'll talk about that, but Batman, like the Batman who laughs is like getting ready to like just destroy everything, he's there's only darkness left, even if Barbatos is failing up top, I'm going to do my madness, and then you just, hear the voice, well I say hear, you read the voice, and then the next panel is just Batman in complete shadows, saying, he's basically mocking his cave, And
you call this a Batcave?
And
this is a Batcave
of the Batman Who Laughs in the foreground, and it sort of dawns on me. I'm like, they have not encountered each other yet. Holy shit!
Nope.
And I'm like, oh man, how's this going to go down? And then it keeps going, and it's that point where Batman says, just fire the damn gun, and you hear again, I said that again, the gunshot happens, and he's like, yeah, I wasn't talking to you, and you see the actual Joker standing with the gun, and it becomes Batman and the Joker teaming up against the Batman Who Laughs, which is genius for a start, because how do you fight a combination of Batman and the Joker? You have Batman and Joker fighting him.
And the Joker.
But the justification for it, because at first I was like, okay, this is a really cool visually, and it's a really cool idea, but do I buy that Batman would do it? And then they actually did a justification that worked for me, because they say the only thing, because keep in mind, the Batman Who Laughs is still a Batman. He's still a Batman in the sense that he still prepares, he still outthinks everyone, he still does all that stuff. And the plan here is the only thing that the Batman would never, ever see coming is a Batman who is willing to work with the Joker.
The Joker.
And that's how they win.
I love even the Batman that became the Joker couldn't fathom that idea.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what he even says as he's taunting Bruce. He's like, I'm not the Joker. I'm not him. I'm you. Yeah. And that's when he's like, yeah, but you know what? This is what I would never do. That's why you didn't think of it. And then Joker shows up, and I've never been that happy to see the Joker.
Yeah.
Also,
this is after Bruce has been shot through the stomach as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I actually love that Joker's first line is more like the Batman who talks. That gave me a proper chuckle.
God, and I read that in Hamill's voice. Yeah. Sometimes the more dark the Joker is, the more I read it like Heath Ledger. But when it's this fun, it automatically goes to Hamill. It's this weird thing my brain does. It just autofills.
It switches between them.
Yeah. For sure.
Depending on tone or whatever, yeah. No, it's great. And even Batman going, we never speak of this. we never speak of it.
And the I call his face. What? Too soon?
Yeah.
No, this was a blast. Obviously, you have the big first part of it is, of course, Wonder Woman with Hawkgirl, and it's Lady Blackhawk technically right now, but you know, Wonder Woman like lowering into the what do we call it,
the pit.
The forge.
The forge. That's the word I was looking for. The forge. And she's lowering herself in. It's like, oh, she's down to get Batman and Superman. Is it going to be okay? And then they come out with Element X, the 10th metal armor on, and then Batman like, okay, I'll give something Green Lantern and Aquaman, and he makes like 2 batarangs out of it because they can form this metal into anything, and that gives them armor, and then like they're all fighting. Meanwhile, of course, he does this. He throws these batarangs whilst he's riding a Joker dragon, just to.
And Nightwing, because of course he's riding a Joker dragon.
Yeah,
I just love that. His firstborn, or not firstborn, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's amazing because Clark's like, hey, get on my back, I'll give you a lift. He's like, nah, I got it. Joker dragon.
Joker dragon, indeed.
So that's my one nitpick, and that's the whole thing. I've talked to so many people that were so disappointed by this, but I loved it because. Metal throughout, while it's been dark, it's just been this big, dumb, and I mean that in the best way, story that's popcorn in action, and that's what this delivered on. But I also think it goes a little bit deeper, but we'll, a little bit more on that. But my one nitpick is what they did with the medals. I don't like how they classed all the medals, and like this is better than this, and then this can defeat that, and I'm just like, I mean that's cool, but like. The over-explanation of the nth metal. Yeah,
but it's a bit much. Physics and stuff. My other critique, and I guess is more about the last few issues as a whole rather than just this one, but just Barbatos ultimately didn't do anything that interesting. He's just kind of the big scary thing to punch at the end.
He's got a great presence still.
Yeah, but the Batman Who Laughs is easily the more interesting of the two.
He's the proper villain, right? Yeah. But the way that I looked at this, and I was arguing with a friend about it, is Barbatos is like, oh, but Barbatos is built to be this big, scary, big bad that was unbeatable. Which one, when you have an unbeatable villain, to me that's not as interesting, because it's kind of like, well, what can you do? But I took Barbatos as he's the dragon, right? It was his job always to destroy things, and that's where, return them to the forge. And through this, he had a role to play, always. And that's the thing that's to be destroyed. So in trying to become something bigger, he became, what he was meant to do. He was fated to be destroyed. That was always,
And obviously, Hawkman getting like remembering who he is and then fighting Barbatos as a giant hawk version of himself. That was fun.
That's
fun
cool.
Stuff there.
Ultimately, I just love the purple text. With he doesn't even need a speech bubble. It's that awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works. I think what else is interesting, just looking at it as a whole, is how all the Dark Batmen are kind of like not that important at the end. There's some quick panels of their counterparts, like taking them out, but it's very, very quick, and they don't really feature much into it. It's almost like we spent so much time building all these Dark Batmen up. They all had their own minis, and they all had all this, and it's like, okay, right, well, ultimately didn't actually factor that much into the final fight. To
borrow some wrestling parlance, we got worked. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So like, look how cool these guys are. They're not going to factor in that much. I mean, they did in the what was the Justice League? It
was around issue 3-ish, I think.
No, I know, but what was that called?
Oh,
you had Gotham Resistance,
Bats
which
Out
was
of Hell,
really good.
I want to say.
Yeah. You had Bats Out of Hell where they more factored in after all their
But I think that was like setting up that they can't be beat, so you want to see you want the satisfying moment where they all get beat, and you do kind of see it quickly, but it's just kind of like on a background thing almost in this, as opposed to actually making moments out of it where they all sort of fight back.
What I mean is they serve a bigger purpose in the tie-ins, in the Wild Hunt, in Bats Out of Hell, than they do in the major story. Which I mean, that's fine, whatever. Like,
which is fine. I think. If I'm going to be just a little bit cynical, and this is more devil's advocate cynical than it's something I'm actually bothered about, but I think if I was going to play cynical, it's kind of like they realised, okay, we're going to have all of his henchmen be these other evil Batmen, and then DC said, hey, we can do a lot of one-shots for them and stuff, and build them up more. And it kind of feels like that was tacked on a little bit, as opposed to being... Because as much as some of those were good, and we like some of them, and they were good in Resistance, it does kind of feel like they were inflated to be more than they were supposed to be to begin with, because, we can market this and do things with it.
Yeah. I don't mind too much because most of them were not. They were at least good. Most of them. There were very few that were outright bad. So it's like
I don't regret reading any of them, and I almost missed that time. Like I stopped being a completionist a while back. This is the first event that I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get everything, and I feel good about it. I don't feel like I got worked. I was like, oh no, I was on this whole journey from point A to point B, and I did all the... I guess it's the closest you could think to, like, 100%ing a video game, right? Like, I don't have that since I don't play video games, but I read every issue of this, sometimes twice, so...
No, I think it's okay, they didn't necessarily lead anywhere, but I had fun reading the issues when they came out, so I don't regret it.
No, I mean, this is the thing, I'm not necessarily complaining about this, it doesn't bother me that much, but it is something that I'm just kind of observing as I read this final issue and go, they're basically taking it in one panel.
No, it's true. It's also more forgivable.
The Elemental X, though.
Yeah.
True.
I think it's more forgivable that we're not getting this consistently. There's not events every 3 months with all these tie-ins that I'm doing this for constantly. It's like, all right, you've done it once in the last couple of years. Sure, you get to go all out.
Yeah, no. That's fair. So I'm saving the epilogue for the end. I wanted to keep that separate and just sort of focus on the fight beforehand first. But which we've done most of. Obviously, they're all kind of wearing. Hawkman beats up Barbatos. They beat up Batman Who Laughs. He's got the Overmonitor. And then basically
we skipped over the army of Batman that Detective Chimp.
That's the follow up to the Wild Hunt issue. Yeah, that they show up to help.
Yeah. And it's DKR Batman, and it's the Nosferatu Batman. What was that story called? It's a Red Mist. Anyways, he's the Batman that's a vampire.
Yeah, you got the Red Sun one in there.
Red Sun, Dark Returns, all the usual numbers.
And I almost wish that me and Connor talked about the variant before this had come out of the, all the different Batman. It would have been cool to have them not spoil that, because it would have been a really cool moment.
Yeah.
But... when that's the only cover my shop has left, like, okay, well, this is cool, but I love that moment. We all know how I feel about Batman.
Yeah, but something in the earlier part of the issue I want to talk about that I've got questions. Is Plastic Man?
Yes.
So he, they just wake him up. It's like, hey, we need you. Come on, help out, and he goes overboard. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome.
Yeah, dinosaur and bulldozer, yes, at the same time.
The dinosaurs, sharks, bulldozer, like I say, octopus tentacles, like the lot. It's pretty fantastic.
And clarify this, right? He was because of whatever his molecular instability is, the dark energy affects him differently, so that's why he went to the egg.
Yeah, because there's a line in Terrifics this week. We'll talk about that later. Where it's like, oh, I didn't turn back into an egg this time, implying that basically when they come out of the dark multiverse here, when they win, it goes back to an egg form. That's what that implies.
Yeah, it just threw me off because the first issue of Terrifics, the way they spoke about it, it made him sound like he had no idea what had been going on. He missed this whole thing. And it just conflicted a little bit. Yeah, they might clarify that later, or it might just be a little mistake that we just kind of have to... Yeah, it could well. It's not the end of the world. It just it was something that stuck out to me.
No, that's fair. So yeah, by the end, it's like, okay, we need to reach out. The Earth's sinking into the darkness. We have to like reach out to everyone and raise them. And the Overmar's like, you can do that. You've got the metal running through you. Everyone's a little bit metal. So raise them with a song, with metal. They all hold, the Justice League hold hands and raise the roof, I guess.
I thought it was really notable that the sequence of all the light going through all the people, it looked very much like how we've seen the Dreaming portrayed.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, who obviously has been shown up at some point, and
there's obviously been references here and there, but visually it really reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's all fair. So that was the big conflict. That was the end of the main part of the issue, if you will. But we had quite an extended epilogue after it, which sets up some stuff. Bruce Wayne more specifically has the League over for dinner, including Kendra and Martian Manhunter, and he's like, we're going to strengthen the League. Hawkman's going to be fine, but he's in a coma, but he jotted down a bunch of stuff in his journal before he went to sleep, because he saw things from the future, and it's basically it's just to tease the shit out of everything that's coming over the next little while, including
I freaking love this stuff,
including the Immortal Men and the other stuff that's coming out of the thing. Even the Sandman universe stuff's kind of even touched upon there.
I wasn't expecting the Dreaming stuff to play into this here, because it feels like it's very separate. It's off at Vertigo. They seem to be segregating that off again. But
then we get a page. Obviously, Flash Wars teased in there. There's there's basically things that are paired with others. Like it mentions names like Lantern. So you're thinking Green Lantern. Jotted down next to Dark Stars. So it seems like we're teasing like stories that are coming up in various books.
It's interesting. Dark Stars, they've been teased in the Hal Jordan book for a while.
There you go.
And I think that's
the controllers.
Right?
Yeah, Wonder Woman's got Dark Pantheon teased with that. Apparently Atlantis might rise out of the water, going from what they're teasing there.
Finally! We're finally going to get the Rise of the Seven Kingdoms that John's teased back in New 52.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
Oh, stoked.
All that, and that first chunk in that 2-page layout. Yeah, what were we thinking about that?
Which bit?
The first bit with all the dudes standing around the guy in the white and red suit.
Oh, that's the Dark Star stuff, right?
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's the controllers.
I didn't know what they look like. All right, fair enough. That's me thinking that's something different. So you got all that, and then the implication, of course, because they mentioned, of course, when they full light out the world, raise it from darkness. They also went a bit further, got to the source wall, and broke it open, which is kind of the real setup for all this stuff that's coming next, because Bruce is like, hey, we don't know what's coming, so John's joining the League, Kendra's joining the League, we're going to assemble everyone else, we're going to do all this stuff. Who knows? People on the other side of that source wall, now that the universe is much bigger, we're a small fraction. I think as Aquaman puts it, we're a fishbowl that's been poured into the ocean. They may be pissed. They may not be happy that we broke the rules. So there might be consequences from this.
Omniverse. Yeah. So we have the universe, the multiverse, and now the omniverse.
I love this stuff.
That's super cool.
Honestly,
now this is starting to make some sense as to no justice. We were always told, this new threats are coming. They got they get information from Brainiac, all this stuff. I'm like, okay, I see where it's going now.
Yeah, but let's not gloss over the fun. After there's let's have some fun first. And John and Damien with Alfred on drums are playing music as we have a party.
By the way, I didn't realize that Alfred was wearing his tie like a headband until just right now.
Oh no, I saw that. That stuck out to me instantly.
Because I got so focused on Swamp Thing with a bow tie. And Mr. Terrific wearing Fair Play on the back of his coat.
Yeah. Which actually, before we talk about the rest of this page, I always want it reminds me. I have one art issue in this book.
Okay.
It's when Wonder Woman does the call. So, she usually clanks her gauntlets together, but she does it with the mace instead to make it louder because it's better metal. the page or the page after where they're all hearing that. There's one of the panels. Mr. Terrific has the wrong color of hair, and his entire face is just red, and it looked weird.
Yeah, I see. That got me as well because I read that panel. I was like, "Who is that?" It looked almost like Grifter.
Yeah, it did. And actually, the thing
I
is,
was like, where does he come from?
Further down the same page, you see him looking normal with the red tee, and he's got the black hair. But up at the top, when he's in the group shot with everyone else, his entire face is red. His hair's red. It just looks wrong.
If you really go in close at it, you can see the T shape. It's just a really wide T instead. It doesn't look as narrow as it usually is, and then obviously the hair's just wrong.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who the hell that was. It wasn't until later down the page where it's like, oh, it's Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, no,
okay.
It got me as well. The only other issue I have is actually the first page of the dinner sequence. When they're all standing around the table, a couple of them just look a bit off. Barry looks a bit weird. Victor looks a bit huge. I don't know, just a few misproportions, I think.
So back to this party scene though. So obviously the Justice League all go in, but already the Babs is there, Dick's there. I think that's Lilith. I think you've got Wally there, Roy, Green Arrow and Dinah there, Chimp's there.
Yeah, the Ray.
You're right, the Ray's there. Yeah.
I love the fact that Hal is wearing a bomber jacket instead of a suit jacket.
Oh yeah, they're giving him shit for it as well.
Hal. Yeah, thing good. He could have done. But I'm trying to see who else. But it looks very much like Janin, right? And this is Capullo, though, right?
Yeah. I actually thought it was Janin for a bit. Like this whole epilogue looks like Janin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Nothing in the books says it's otherwise. So
no, that's why I double. So of also, course, the editor's note on this page.
Oh yeah,
says, "Remember, kids, what happens at a Batman party stays at a Batman party."
Yeah.
Like again, they're just keeping that fun.
And then of course the final page is like basically Bruce is like, "Hey, other Trinity members, because we're the elders of the entire movement. Come with me." And he's like, "I've got a plan." And the final page is the blueprints for the Hall of Justice on the table, and it's like, oh man, like this final page, this final epilogue really got me excited for all the stuff coming up. It really did.
This is why I read comics and stuff like this.
Yeah, you know? I honestly, as much as people say, Metal's been kind of light and throwaway, it's been so much goddamn fun that I hope all this Justice League stuff going forward that Snyder's shepherding kind of keeps this tone and feel.
Yeah, it feels a lot like Infinite Crisis that way, where Infinite Crisis was playing with much bigger pieces, right? And it was more of a gamble because you're bringing back the multiverse and stuff. But it set forward. Like, we didn't have these type of events for a while where it just sets forward the direction of the stories.
And pretty much all of us exciting. I mean, even though Abnett's still in Titans, even the new direction of that and how it seems to be at least in the same family of books with the Justice League books gives me a bit more hope for it. Like, oh, it's going to be more relevant because of this. Because it's, before maybe he was just, like, Abnett was on his own, he was told he wasn't allowed to do X and Y.
Just killing time, basically.
Yeah. Whereas now it feels like,
that's what that book felt like.
Like, when they went on the retreat and they were like, okay, let's everyone get in a room, and like Snyder's going to like point out what the main Justice League's doing, and everything's going to like tie into that, and like here's what we're going to do with it all. I'm super excited, and having the main book double shipping, then like Odyssey and Dark in the other weeks, like weekly doses of this, I'm excited.
I'm going to get my fix, and that feels good.
It does feel good. A lot of fun team members as well. Yeah, so No Justice starts the second week of May, so we've got just over a month of waiting before. Obviously, we finish off Priest's Justice League run before then, but just over a month until all the big good stuff really kicks in.
Yeah, so we basically just finished off Priest's run, right?
Priest run, and obviously we're getting Action 1000, and then obviously Bendis' Superman stuff basically starts the same time, because that's May as well, Man of Steel.
Is it the same week?
It's not the same week, but it overlaps almost entirely.
Because Man of Steel starts I think second week of May and goes through second week of June.
No. It starts the last week of May.
It starts the last week of May?
Because remember, they didn't solicit it even though it starts the last week of May, and then it runs through all June.
Okay, so then it goes through second week of July then.
It finishes the first week of July, and then the first issue of Superman's second week of July.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
So yeah, just to get complex. But they overlap, which is why I was remembering.
So we basically have No Justice, and then okay, as we get into the end of that, that's when Man of Steel kind of starts up.
Yeah, the final issue of New Justice and the first Man of Steel are on the same day.
Yeah.
So that'll be a big week, and then everything it's leading to is all going to kind of spiral out of that. And I'm assuming we're going to get more announcements for stuff in August and September as we
pretty much, yeah,
as we get up there. But no, it's all super exciting. Seeing it in the context now of this, and I almost wonder like how exciting would this last few pages have been had we not heard all that stuff from Snyder, if he'd not just blown his load at the conference. And
I don't know.
I get though, he's like a kid. He wanted to share it with us, you know. It's like when a younger sibling gets so excited because they watch something that you hadn't seen yet. Like, oh, I love this. Oh, I was like, man, okay. Thanks.
It's almost a shame all those announcements were at WonderCon in general. If they'd held it off for C2E2 in a couple of weeks, we could have had this first and got all these teases.
Well, wasn't this supposed to come out like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, this was delayed, so this is actually... so maybe originally this was supposed to be before all the announcements, but...
Oh, that's fair.
But they'd set up the live stream and all that. They wanted to like do it on the internet, and I think that takes a bit of time and planning. So they obviously already had that set.
Yeah, that's true.
So no, but no, super pumped. All these big things. Hall of Justice is a base for all the teams, and
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Everything else, so it's exciting.
Portals to get to the other ones. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, the one thing we know we have to get announcements for soonish. And by soonish I mean the next few months, not like imminent, is who's taking over Hal Jordan, or what that book's turning into once Venditti leaves at 50.
Yeah.
So, hey, so that is Metal number 6. So, big exciting. And obviously, it's been a long time. It started because we got the prelude issues starting in June last year. So it's been going on for a while.
The casting.
Yeah. So it's been a nice long odyssey, but no pun intended, because we're about to enter a new chapter.
But who cares, because it gave us Justice League Power Rangers.
It did do that.
Well, and it gave us Starbro.
It did
gave
that
us Starbro, yeah. All good things.
Metal.
So
I couldn't help but hear Queen during the climax of...
You're hearing Queen?
Of Metal.
Yeah, all right.
Even though Queen's not that metal, they're big and showy and...
Oh, no, I can see it.
I had the Highlander song just blaring in my head.
Oh, you're the Prince of the Universe?
Yeah.
Okay. So... I can see it. I think if anything, I'd probably hear the show must go on, I think, in my head. Like, because they're stopping the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all like Queen. Rare we all find a artist that we're all fond of. Because
Queen are great. There's anyone who argues that is just factually wrong.
Yeah. It's either you like Queen or you're not human.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love Back to the Future, or you're not a human being.
Wow. We all know Connor's missing a soul, so...
I don't dislike.
The reason why I only got 6 hours of sleep is I went to go to bed and Back to the Future was on. And... I couldn't go to sleep.
I have to go back. Oh, Matt, actually, just since we mentioned Back to the Future, it reminded me, have you watched Krypton yet? The first episode?
No, I was going to start yesterday and then I took a nap.
I'm curious to the excitement levels, because you will... There's some things that you're going to love.
I have a taping, so it's going. I caught up on Supergirl last weekend. I got to catch up on Flash, and then Krypton.
Legends is the one you want to be on.
Yeah, Legends is fantastic. And then Flash had one really great episode recently, though, that you'll like when you get to it. But Legends has been knocking it out. That's been super fun. But yeah, so that's Metal. So we can wrap up the main event books for the week and move on with our lives. We shall move on then to the regular books of the week, which will start us off with Detective Comics 977, James Tynion IV on the writing, and then on art is Eddy Barrows and Javier Fernandez. So this was an issue that is still building up. Of course, that's Batman Eternal stuff. Ulysses basically shows Tim a simulation of what is probably going to happen in the future, based on what he got from Future Tim, or Alternate Tim. That Tim, future, Dark Tim.
Days of Future Bats Tim.
Yeah, there you go. That one. It shows him like how basically the when Batman dies, because Kate Kane comes in force to the mansion with an army, and shoots him in the head, and that kind of leads it. Okay, right. So work with me, Tim. I've got Brother Eye. We can do all this together. We can be great. And Tim's like, well, let me think about this. Is kind of weird, and Tim actually goes to Batman for guidance, and he's like, "Hey, Batman, like, I'm not here to argue. Like, I'm coming to help you. You said I should come for your help." And Batman's glad he came for him. He's like, "Hey, I'm about to beat up these guys. We got criminals here. You take the two on the left, right?" And he's like, "Oh," and is this bonding moment? He's like, "Oh, okay, we'll work together."
Well, it's a lesser intense version of Batman and Robin Will Never Die from Morrison's run.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so, and I love when he shows up. He's like, "Look, we're not talking about the Belfry again. Just like a put upon dad. Like, no, you're not having ice cream for dinner again. All right,
Again.
Take the first time. I shouldn't have let you do it. Your mom's out of town." And then he's like, "No, I'm not here to talk." And it was the first time Tim has felt like Tim since he's come back, which I think that's Tynion's, aiming for. So
yeah, he's finding himself again now.
Yeah, I really love that moment.
Yeah. But of course, what we set up plot-wise is that two of the cronies for Colony, because we see Kate and we see Batwing. They're talking about stuff. It's like, "Oh, you look after him, Kate, and give him hell," all the rest of it. And we follow these two guys out who are moaning because they're not going to get food with the others. They're like, "Damn, we could have stayed for food." And we follow these two, and I'm like, "Okay, what's going to happen to these two?" Because we don't know who these characters are, so something must be about to happen to them for this to be relevant. And sure enough, OMAC invades them and takes control of them in their suits. And at the end of the issue, they actually jump in before Batman and Robin do, or Red Robin do, and just kill all the villains, kill all the criminals with miniguns. And it's Ulysses trying to show, here's what I can do with OMAC. Here's the future, Tim. This is what we can achieve. This is how efficient we are.
Oh, the OMAC. And in the colony suits too, so it looks different, but. Oh man, what's
Mike,
it?
OMAC's coming, Matt. OMAC's coming for you.
But when it said "I am operational" or whatever it said, all I can think is Connor fist pumping.
Yeah,
it's Connor Kent's been Brother Eye. So
that's just because for weeks he's like, "Brother Eye's coming, Brother's Eye's coming," and then we had that one week where it actually did just reveal Brother Eye.
And I was like, "I bloody told you."
Yeah. So I thought these two colony guys were gonna be like the Rosecrans, or what are they? Rosecrans and Guildenstern, like the Shakespeare.
I think. Yeah.
Guildenstern. I thought that was gonna be them, and then they end up OMACing it. I was like, "Oh man, he took me one way and then turned me the other."
Do you know what I love how just two guys complaining that they want dinner and can't have dinner is enough to make me empathise with them, that I cared a little bit when they get taken over.
Well,
it's just enough.
With everybody. And she sends him back. She's like, "No, you're working. We're not."
So relatable.
And she pulls her.
Yeah.
So relatable.
That was great. I also loved Tam and Luke arguing, and she goes, "All right, whatever, little bro." And he goes, "I'm 6 years older than you." I just that back and forth.
Actually, I liked her response. Was lately story.
Yeah, likely story.
Yeah. That's basically the whole issue. I've basically described the whole thing.
That's it. It was a nice quick read. Although I don't buy Ulysses and that future. I do feel he's very manipulative.
Well, that's the thing he says to him is I saw what happened of me in this future, and after a couple of encounters with you and Batman, I basically just disappeared, and I want to be more important than that. I want to have more of a legacy, kind of thing. So obviously it's setting up clearly what we're going to be fighting at the end. It might also be the thing that maybe convinces Kate and the others that working with Colony is a bad idea. But
I feel the way it's at now, because when we saw her, she was kind of flying solo in Days of Future Bats.
Yeah.
She had Montoya and stuff, but she didn't have Luke and Azrael there as kind of backups. As almost the angels on her shoulder, keeping her on the right way. And I almost kind of like the idea of her doing Colony her way, and it can coexist. Of course Batman's not going to like it, but I like the idea that it can happen. It doesn't have to be this good versus evil thing.
Although if that does happen, if she does end up staying with Colony and it's hers, I mean, we have to eventually change the Batwoman book to kind of match that, right? It can only go for so long before we're like, hey, why is she still wearing a Bat logo on her top?
I missed that issue. I wish that's where it was going, because I'm so burned out on the island in Batwoman.
Did you read last week's issue yet?
Oh yeah, I read it. I read all my stuff. I just
yeah.
I'm just over it. enjoy this.
Yeah, there was positives and negatives to it because we dissected that twist at the end of the last issue of Batwoman quite in depth last week as to why it's kind of worked, but why it was kind of underwhelming because of everything, and it was just it was back and forth. But yeah, so clearly this issue is setting up what the main sort of physical threat's going to be for this arc.
Yeah, definitely.
And just bring Tim back round a little bit. I really hope Steph comes back before this ends. I'm really I'm worried about where she's going to be going at the end of all this Tynion run.
No, it's true. It's I will say I've just been flipping through it now, and the art is a goddamn mess. It's all over the place.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. We have two good artists, but it's switching between them.
You're wrong. We've got 3 artists.
We get 3 as a third one.
Yeah, Iba Ferreira is one as well. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm like, okay, there are things that are nice here or there, but from all the artists, there are points where I'm going, that kind of looks rough. It's kind of feels okay. This is rushed for the double shipping, right? Like when you've got 3 artists, 2 issues into
this one definitely. I feel like what's probably happened here is that they decided that other issues after this are more important, and they made this was the gimped one because they said, oh no, I want this artist to be on this one entirely, and I want this artist to be on this one entirely. So this one ended up probably being like, okay, who's left to cobble this one together?
Yeah. I will say, is this the first time we've seen the new Batman suit outside of Doomsday Clock?
I believe so, because it's in the future, right?
Yeah. I just thought that was notable.
Yeah, no, because it's in this possible future. You see the yellow oval suit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's exactly the same as the one in Doomsday Clock, though.
It looks like it to me. The yellow oval, the blue cape.
Yeah, it was the way they. I felt like the one in Doomsday Clock had more of a rim around it, like the Earth One suit. Maybe it's just the artist has just not drawn it correctly. Yeah, it might just be the way the artist has drawn it more than it being different.
Yeah, it could be.
But I'm sure it had more of a sort of defined rim around it.
You might be right.
Whereas this looks like it's just like a sewn-on patch kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely much closer to that though. Than,
oh sure, it is. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so yeah, it was a solid issue of Detective. Maybe art having some problems aside, and setting up stuff. But hey, so that'll take us on to. So there's no action, so we're going straight to Wonder Woman 43. James Robinson writing, Marco Santucci on the art. And did you want more of Jason? And Jason talking to Steve, and Steve being kind of like us and not really trusting him, but by the end, like, okay, we'll train you, Steve, and or sting you. So
Jason. If this keeps the quality going, I'm done.
I have a confession. I didn't read this.
Oh god, damn it, Connor.
No, here's the reason. I got to this and went, oh shit. I got to this and went, oh shit, I haven't read the last issue yet because that was on the week that I missed. And then I was like, I really don't want to read 2 issues of this. I'm not reading 2 issues of this.
So I usually like James Robinson, and I'll excuse a lot. I have no idea what's going on here.
James Robinson can be good. There's no question he can be a good writer.
Yeah.
No, I tend to like his stuff more than I dislike it. His run on Superman in the late 2000s,
people liked his New 52 Earth 2 stuff.
Starman,
obviously is his big thing.
The arc he's doing in Trinity at the minute's not bad.
I mean, even Cry for Justice, which was a little bit cringy at times, I enjoyed more than I didn't. His Justice League that came out of that.
Literally, half this issue was Steve and Jason talking to each other, and basically accepting by the end he'll give Jason a chance, and he introduces Jason to his team and all the rest of it. And other than that, it's basically Wonder Woman goes to fight a couple of the Furies that they've got captured, and then at the end, Darkseid uses a boom tube to bring the entire, or at least a chunk of the Argus base to the Amazon jungle, so that they've got the part that's got the relics in it that he wants. And that's the big cliffhanger, is like Wonder Woman's going to face off against Darkseid. That's the end of the issue. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, this is also the least I've ever liked Darkseid. Because him wanting the Amazons for an army, I don't... Why? I don't get it.
Which is funny, because right now we've got Mr. Miracle, where it may be the most I've ever loved Darkseid, because he's such an omnipotent presence in that. Whereas,
and that's how I feel he should be. Yeah. He should, and I bring it up all the time when I talk about Darkseid, he should be like that Cthulhu presence, where he's just out of sight, but just the threat of him is enough to drive you mad.
Be excited for Justice League Odyssey.
I think it's really going to be interesting to see how they play with that. I know they were actually talking this week how at the start of that book, he's in a cage. Like they actually have him in a prison on the where they're going.
And that can be worked. Even teenage Darkseid early on in this, I was kind of okay with. Just I'm like, okay, well that's weird and interesting. But him just standing around monologuing and wanting the Amazonians for.
Also, they did the same thing as last issue where he kills like, one of the helpers. He's like, "I'll be ready," and he's like, "I'll be ready soon, sir." And then he beams him, and he's like, "Okay, what about you? Next in command, I'll be ready." And he's like, "Yes." I'm pretty sure we had almost the exact same beat last issue where
it wasn't last issue; it was the one before.
Oh, you read it? Yeah, okay. But they've had that same beat play out before.
And then I don't care where Jason got his powers from. I know what they're teasing. I don't care.
Do you know, I wonder if this is like, oh, we know that the next run on Wonder Woman's going to start with X issue. James, fill in the next 10 till we get there.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of rambling to try and make it work.
I really hope that Dark Pantheon stuff isn't in this run, because I'd be ashamed to miss that.
That'd be cool if that's teasing at the start of the next run, if that's what that's teasing.
Yeah.
Well, what they were teasing here is that they're definitely they're seeming like Greek gods, because he's talking about how he never misses, so he has like Apollo's aim, but he also has like the strategy of Ares, and they're almost like just the solo male patrons, whereas the Amazons worship Athena and Artemis and Hera. They're going much more male focused, but I also feel like there's a twist coming that they're just new gods. Like it's gonna be like Light Ray and some other guys. I'm not up to date with the new gods, so. But yeah, I don't care. Him flying around and destroying the drones and Steve. I like Steve normally. I hate Robinson Steve. He is nothing. He's a white piece of bread that's just on the there's no character to him, and it sucks because Rucka worked so hard to make him interesting, and Robinson's just undoing that all.
Oh yeah, I mean Rucka made them all interesting. Every character we encountered in that run was interesting.
Even Johns though, when he tried to add him to Justice League, he always just felt like, Wonder Woman's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And Rucka took him past that, and he had a character, and even adding the Oddfellows, from tying the movie stuff in, it was cool. Like he had this group of dudes and he had a voice, and here I just feel like he could be any random, Argus general. He doesn't have to be. And the Angel stuff, I'm just like, get out of here. That is terrible. Again, I bring it up every time, but it makes me cringe.
You guys are really not making me, regret that I didn't read this.
When I get the next issue, when the next issue comes out, if it's more of the same, I'm just going to stop and pick up when Robinson's done. Because the Silver Swan stuff was fine, but if it's going to be off and on like this, then I just don't need it. I'll just take it off until...
It's annoying, because I would love to be reading a Wonder Woman book.
Me too.
But I'm not putting myself through reading a shit book for the sake of just reading a Wonder Woman book. I'd rather not read one than read a shit one.
Well, and then you read Brave and the Bold, and the stuff that Sharp's doing there, it's playing with mythology that I'm unfamiliar with, but I'm into that story. Wonder Woman feels like Wonder Woman, not that she doesn't hear, but this doesn't feel like a Wonder Woman story.
That's the thing. I can get my Wonder Woman fix elsewhere. Yeah. I get it in Brave and the Bold. I'm going to get it in Justice League. No Justice. Yeah. Dark. I'm like, I'm covered. As much as I want a Wonder Woman solo book that I'll enjoy, I'll take her elsewhere for now.
That said, there's a variant coming out with Stan on it, and I might have to get that one regardless.
The Wonder Woman variants are gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, my stance in this is that I won't read this on my own. When Matt drops it, I'll also drop it. But as long as I've got somebody to talk to about it and complain about it, I'll keep reading it. That's my stance right now.
Well, I'm just on a week like this where I was so packed and getting down to the wire to read.
Yeah.
One less book I wouldn't have complained about. But
this was a packed week. Yeah. Like I said, what's funny though is next week 4 is that it's going to be the event books are gone. Action's still not going to be on. It'll be okay, Wonder Woman's one of 6 books.
Yeah, but by then I might have nothing to go off. Just because the quality hasn't improved.
No, that's fair. I can't really dispute this. We've been complaining about it about 4 or 5 issues now. I mean, we were always kind of lukewarm on it, even when it was some of the Silver Swan stuff was kind of good. There was parts we didn't like, but these last 4 or 5 issues, we have done nothing but tear it to shreds.
If Shea Fontana does listen to this, I apologize for that arc. I was upset that it wasn't Rucka. That was more about me than it was you.
Oh yeah. I'd pray for Fontana to come back now. Jesus.
Oh God, please.
Because at least it had some interesting, like, yeah, sure, I didn't like the whole Amazon, super soldier serum.
Yeah, but it had its own personality at least, which I think this is lacking.
Well, yeah. In Edda Candy, Edda was such a great character in that arc, even more so than anyone else in this book. Like, the Hercules stuff started super cool, and then you take Hercules away within the first issue.
That pissed me off.
Yeah, so
I'm still annoyed about that. Hercules was the best part of this run. Steve
doesn't really have a character. Diana's fine, but like Grail kind of sucks. Darkseid sucks. Jason, don't get me started.
Jason doesn't just suck. Jason's sucking the life out of the book entirely.
He is.
This book.
He is cousin Oliver. Are you guys familiar with that from Brady Bunch?
No.
Yeah. So anytime a show starts to flounder, they'll bring in a cute kid, and it's called Cousin Olivering. The only problem is Wonder Woman wasn't floundering. I'd argue that it had never been at a higher point. They
just didn't know what to do, did they?
No, they weren't prepared for Rucka leaving. And DC's handled so much really well with Rebirth, but this is the one big.
This is a genuine misstep.
Yeah. Oh. So, hey ho, we will run over to the Flash.
There we go.
See what I did there. Flash number 43, Joshua Williamson writing. Carmine Giandomenico was back on art, which was fantastic. It was gorgeous. Yeah. I was loving how this.
His Grodd.
I think his art's legitimately gotten better since the start. I think it's more refined, and I think a lot of the stuff in this one where it's like almost out of focus, like backgrounds, but it was making it pop in a really good way.
Yeah. Any time I get a Flash issue that's just him on art, I know it's going to be a good read.
Yeah.
Well, the stuff that he did with like when they're running around him and you can catch certain glimpses of characters.
Yeah.
Like Avery or Wally or
honestly,
younger Wally.
One of my favorite panels is on the very first page. It's the bottom panel where Barry is just stood there in the middle of the road and all these cars are there. Like he's been running around and he just stops.
Yeah, because I love this issue a lot. It kind of took Barry, his arrogance demanding that he needs the Speed Force back, and then like all the possessed versions of the Speedsters are all like, nah, you just did this for yourself, and like you're this, and basically by the end he's like, you know what, Grodd, I'm not going to fight my family if you're controlling them. Just go ahead and kill me. And of course Grodd has a great moment where he's like, well, you think you've got a moral victory? And he, smashes him Grodd style. But like I really loved all that stuff. I love the fact that he brings up Iris and that snaps, like Wally's able to like gain control back for like just 30 seconds, just to like give
Iris
some advice.
Iris is his lightning rod.
Yeah,
it wasn't just Linda; it was Iris as well. And I like that.
And it wakes him up enough just to do this. And I love that Barry, like I was right as I was being chased around the city with all my family. I modified the lightning rod. I got parts for it to do what I should have done all along, which is do everything I could to fix you and like cure you. And we get that great full page of it. My favorite panel in the issue though is when all 5 speedsters are in a row and it's the shotgun down all their faces.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Because they
all classic
feel
lineup shot, isn't it?
It is, and they all feel it's a Power Ranger shot. It makes me think of Power Rangers.
It is,
and that's the thing. They're all different colours, costumes as well, which just makes it pop.
Mostly.
I mean, obviously Barry and Wally are similar, but
and Godspeed and Kid Flash are kind of similar as well.
Yeah, but Godspeed has the white suit aspect, and then aspects.
They're all different enough that it's really distinct. It doesn't feel the same costume 5 times.
And I loved what Manipul and Booch did with making God this worshiper of the Speed Force. But I'm kind of glad that Williamson rewrited it like he's been doing.
Rewrote it.
He's fixing a lot of the New 52. I'm
not letting rewrited it stand. Rewrote. He rewrote
Whatever. He rewrote. Whatever, I don't care.
I'm just not letting it stand.
Anyways, so I'm glad that that's still in continuity, but Grodd's back to being the telepathic evil ape from.
It's great, and I love that when he does cure him, Grodd's like, I have no power left. He's like, no, you still have the powers you had before. You still have the telepathic abilities.
They're your own inborn natural abilities. I can't do anything with those.
But and then it sets up what the big thing's going to be now for the end of this. So I guess it was part 5, but it's not done because Grodd turns off the thingy. That was what I'm going to call it.
Proper menace, that Grodd, right?
Yeah. He turns off the thingy, and that basically unleashes the negative speed force. And what's interesting that I really like about this is not retcon, because this was clearly the plan all along, but I think when Mina showed up as evil, we liked it. It worked, but there was a question of this feels like a sudden switch. Like what made her go evil? And it turns out the entire time she was just the first one that was controlled by Grodd.
Yeah. He makes a point of saying it was easy because she was genuinely angry.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, which is why we bought it, because it's like, okay, there is. We knew those feelings were there.
But it was quick, and I liked it. Now it's okay. This makes sense now, and it means that Mina's not evil. And maybe we'll get a little bit of a send off for her before she leaves or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe she'll die tragically next
her...
issue. Who knows?
And this final page is almost a negative Speed Force storm.
Yeah.
To go back to the very start of the run.
Yeah. That's in a weird way almost feels like the end of Act 1 of his run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tying it all together.
Yeah.
I feel like Mina's not long for this world now, though.
She's
the negative Flash, negative.
She'll be the one who has to take the negative Speed Force into herself, right? To stop it.
Isn't that the most Flash thing to do? Is to sacrifice yourself?
Yeah.
During a massive thing. Yeah.
You're not a Flash unless you've at least sacrificed yourself once it came back.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a rite of passage.
New Wally's not really a Flash yet. I mean, older Wally's earned that name. He's done it twice now at this point.
Well, even Bart sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
Rose, you know, like this
I'm sure Jay's done it. This feels like a thing Jay's done at some point.
If they don't tie that into where the JSA is, that he trapped him in some pocket thing through the Speed Force, and he had to sacrifice himself.
Well, we know he's in there. We saw the helmet. You know, we got the Hope moment. Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
that's what they run and sacrifice themselves. You know,
I really hope Giandomenico is on the next issue as well.
I think I could double check, but I think he will be. I feel like
he usually does back to back.
Yeah, I feel like he usually does the start and the end of the arc, so I think he's probably in the next one because it's the last issue of the arc.
I'm really hoping so.
Go check the solicits for.
I've got to Comixology and having a quick glance. I mean, not that they're necessarily the most accurate, but
just find out what issue 44 is.
Yeah.
Because 45, I believe, is the start of Flash War, I think.
So it starts in May. So we should have 2.
Oh, so there's 2, okay. I could have sworn the number 45 is ringing a bell, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's 46 in May.
Well, because the annual comes out, and that's where Flash War, or some special issue comes out, and that's where Flash War starts. And then it takes
we've already had that.
So,
we had that annual.
You did?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the annual. Maybe it's a special. But I remember there being something.
45 is an epilogue to this.
Okay.
But 44, that's Giandomenico again.
So that's the finale, then there's an epilogue, and then it's Flash War. Okay, cool.
And I don't want to put down all the other artists on the book, but this book is just at its best when Giandomenico is doing an issue.
Oh, it's absolutely. And I think the writing's gotten better. I think the last arc was great. I think this is the best arc it's had. And what I love is that I feel so optimistic about Flash 4 that I still think it's going to get better. Like I feel that optimism because it feels like everything's going to do with Wally, everything they teased in that annual. It feels like it's the big stuff we want.
No, it's won me back because I felt the book was floundering a little around the negative Speed Force stuff, and I stand by that. It feels like a weaker patch in the run overall so far. But this arc, no, it's come back kicking. It's proven that it can do this. It can be strong, and it's left me really excited for Flash War.
Yeah. So, film arts for this issue. I dug all this stuff, and I love that there's a family of speedsters now. We've got a couple of new ones who weren't ever there before. You got Avery. You got Godspeed, who's seemingly going to be like an anti-hero speedster now. He's
a good version of Jason Todd in Flash.
Yeah.
He's better than Jason Todd. I'll say it now.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If Jason actually works, like when Winnick kind of did him early on, that's what he represents. I feel so. Yeah. And then there's we have Wally, who's the dick, and young Wally, who's I guess Tim.
The Dick Grayson, not a Dick, just to clarify. Yeah. It took me a second. He's the Dick. No, Jason's the Dick. What are you talking about? So yeah, it was a really good issue. Art was gorgeous. It feels like it feels like it's fittingly kind of completed the main part of Grodd's part of the story, but it's let off this this ticking time bomb they're going to have to stop for the final issue. So
yeah. I'm excited for the next issue now.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a trade. This with the what's it called? Perfect Storm. That's what it's called.
Yes.
This will be a hell of a trade in the run when it's all said and done. So, really looking forward to the next issue. So that'll take us on to the next thing, which is Batgirl number 21. Hope Larson writing, Scott Godlewski on the art. And this is another one and done story of a monster that was created from science experiments or whatever, who's attracted to this chemical that's used in this one particular beauty product. And
Yeah,
so
it's you throw probiotics in a facial cleanser, but the antibiotic or the probiotics are made out of this mutated creature, and it wants it all back.
yeah, so whenever someone uses it, he's attracted through the pipes to come to them, and he's not hurting the people. They're just going into comas for a couple of days when this stuff is taken from them. But obviously, it's a concern. Batgirl's investigating, and she ends up running to her father, who's also investigating it, and it becomes this team-up issue, father-daughter team-up issue, where they're tracking down this stuff, and he's like, you're going to keep looking into this anyway, so let's just work together and get this done. This was an adorable, fun little issue of, like, every time she almost called him dad, and then had to like catch herself and be like, oh, Commissioner Gordon.
I just wish it was more issues. Like, it's a fine one and done.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the story being told.
It was delightful. See, but honestly, my only criticism is towards the end, after they've had their fight, they go into showers to like get rid of the material off them, but they both do it fully clothed. And not that I'm saying I wanted them to strip down and see that, but it made me question. I'm like, why are they both? I mean, Batgirl maybe
to get the material off the clothes.
I guess, yeah. It's just I can't imagine getting into a shower with clothes on. It's just weird.
No, it is, but I mean, they're trying to get it all there, so it's contained.
It's like,
they don't want to leave it on their clothes and take it home, right?
Sure, but I did really like the whole thing where he's like, "Oh, you're not taking evidence from the crime scene." He's like, "But science, I can work out what's going on." He's like, that's kind of like my daughter."
You remind me of her. In
It's
fact,
like-
you kind of look like her, sound just like her. Huh? Weird.
Yeah, Joe, I like about it.
It's especially less believable with this new mask, which.
Yeah.
Is even it's higher up than the old one was.
So we talked about this offline, and
I just want to say though, I like her blushing face when he says that. When he says, "You remind me of my daughter," her blushing face is great. It's a great moment in the art, I thought.
Yeah. But yeah, we talked about this offline, and now it's a little bit of a leap. But deep down, I like the idea that Gordon knows he's just not gonna say anything.
He's not willing to accept it. He's in denial.
Yeah, he's like, nah, is that Barbara? It could be, but I'm not gonna think about that.
Actually, one of my favourite little moments, just because it's like such a slice of life, offbeat thing to have in a superhero story, is when Gordon goes to get results and Barbara's in her Batgirl outfit just on her phone, like waiting outside the building, just killing time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just cracks me up.
I like the art. The art was really Saturday morning cartoon in the best way.
Yeah,
like,
it stayed consistent with that style for a while now.
Yeah,
it's funny. There was quite a handful of panels in this that weren't working for me, and that one that Pete just mentioned with the blushing, her eyes look absolutely terrified. Like if in that panel, and her mouth looks like it's really small, and her face looks squashed. I was like, oh no, I did not like that panel at all.
Because I don't
okay.
remember
I'm used to you
looking
being wrong.
bad
That's fine.
to me.
Maybe, but when I looked, it just looked weird to me.
I can't see what you mean. I don't know. I was mostly digging it.
I like the
her
sentiment.
I like her wearing the coveralls over her Batgirl costume too.
Yeah,
when she's doing her Breaking Bad get cosplay. This is the Walter White version of Batgirl.
Yeah. Just something that threw me is, I always thought Burnside was just like a nice area in Gotham.
No,
Like,
it's all gentrified.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was completely separate. It's like it's outside of Gotham entirely, and it's like this separate little town on the outskirts.
I think of it like Brooklyn. So if you look at, let's use Nolan's version with all the bridges.
Yeah.
It's across one of the bridges, so you can look out across. Like you can look out from Brooklyn and see Manhattan. That's how I imagine Burnside is with.
I think that's what it is after seeing it in this issue, but it threw me because I always just thought it was an area of Gotham that was a bit nicer. Like, I didn't realize she was actually outside of Gotham now.
Yeah.
I
just like
me missing something else.
Well, I also like in the art too. You see kind of all the closed down buildings. Like, it's up and running, but it's still not like the it part of town. Also, the swipes that I don't want to say the hipster market. But like the only thing criminal about them is the prices they charge for this stuff.
Mm.
Like that line was pretty great.
Yeah.
So
that was good. That was good.
It was a good issue. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that it's not canceled and people were just reading it wrong. That it was Batgirl and the Birds of Prey.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning the June solicitors did have a different writer on Batgirl for that month. It didn't sound like the start of an arc though, so it's probably a fill-in.
I think we talked about that when
we did. I'm just bringing it up since we're talking about Batgirl and Matt wasn't here last week. Sure. So I think she's probably still in the book, and we'll see maybe because I feel like we should have mentioned something when she wasn't on that issue if she wasn't done. If she was done for now.
Yeah.
So hey ho. But no, it was good. So that'll take us on to Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps 41. Robert Venditti writing and Brandon Peterson on the art. You two read this, and every so often I'm tempted to go back and try and catch up because there's various interesting things at various times, but now it's like 40 issues, so it's
kind of been worth it.
Yeah, since the controller thing started again, it's going to be worth revisiting after Venditti's gone because Venditti's been super up and down, but when he's up, it's really landing, isn't it? It's almost John's level. I listened to a podcast this week about Hal Jordan. It's called Geek History Lesson, and they did 2 episodes about Hal Jordan, and they revisited a lot of the John stuff, and now I need to go back. Like after I'm done with my Teen Titans thing that I'm doing right now, I'm going to have to go because there's a whole lot I forgot about, and I feel that Venditti kind of used that as a jumping off point, but did his own thing as well. He took the risks, which is kind of admirable, even though a lot of his Hal I don't enjoy.
Early in the run and in the New 52 stuff, I'm not a fan of his Hal at all. But the Hal that we get in this arc is fantastic.
That's what I meant about the jumping off point. This is the Hal that I'm used to. This is the Hal that told Sinestro to F off.
This is Hal making giant planes and missiles to crash into Zod.
Not just 1, 2. He created a fleet to take out Zod. And the fact that we've seen Zod take out Superman, right? On more than one occasion. And Hal's not going to let that deter him. He's going to keep going. And it shows, is it brave or is it reckless? It's both.
It's stupid, but it doesn't stop him.
No. So
it's a fantastic issue. This is obviously the wrapping up of this arc on Zod's planet. So you have, of course, all the Green Lanterns have arrived to come and rescue Kyle as we got the last issue, and Zod is just going, "Come on, then, bring it." So Hal does.
I'm a military strategist. You're just merely a pilot, and then that's when he hits him with 2 planes. Like they have this knockout, drag out fight, and Hal's hitting him with what he can.
The back and forth banter is fantastic. Yeah. There's a point where Hal's like, that's the thing with all you army dudes. The fight's always forward, but they taught us something in the Air Force. Shall I tell you? And Zod's like, go on then. I'll etch it into your tombstone with the laser vision. And it's like, yeah, aerial fights are 360, and then just smacks him with a giant plane from behind, and it's such a fist pumping moment.
Oh man! And then he gets in the following page, right? Yeah. He arrests him, full almost Green Lantern Miranda, where he tells by the laws of the Green Lantern Corps, you're under arrest, but. What gets me is Guy's looking up. He's got Kyle, who's still comatose, and he goes, "Damn, do I hate to love that guy." Because it's Hal doing what he does. Hal shouldn't be a leader. Yes, he's charismatic and he can lead a squadron, but he doesn't need to be the one making big decisions.
He inspires them, but he's not the one to make the decisions. And
exactly,
and that's the thing. Guys like, damn it, why does Hal always get to do the cool stuff?
Yeah. Where's guys like I do that stuff too, but it always ends up wrong.
yeah.
I inspire them to don't do what Guy did. That's why he gets into the fight with Arquillo and plucks his eye. You don't do that.
Yeah, but then essentially the Guardians show up and go, hey, yeah, you've got to release him. We can't charge him for this because he hasn't done anything right now. You've just kind of made the assumption. And yeah, he kidnapped the Lanterns, but you provoked him. You went there and attacked.
But here's the thing. How would this work out in Star Trek with the Prime Directive? Because Zod comes in and enslaves this primitive race. That's got to be against one of the Guardians' laws.
Well, that's the thing, but he's not harming them. So it's like they worship him. He's not doing anything evil to them. So I don't think they care.
See, this is where I can tell that I'm a Gryffindor and you're a Ravenclaw, because I look at that and go, "Nah, man, that's wrong." And you're
I'm not saying I agree with the Guardians. I know. Get what their thought is.
This is why I'm the Ric Flair of our show.
Jeez, Matt's went through 5 references in the space of 60 seconds. Star Trek, Harry Potter, wrestling, just back to back to back.
That's it. Hey, man. Ready Player One. That's all that was. I'm still in the mindset.
Essentially, they get back and Hal and John are having a chat, and they're like, "Hey, these Guardians are better than the last set because this is kind of the opposite of what they used to do. They're doing this properly, so we should probably give them a chance to do it properly. Because otherwise, if we just do our own thing, they're going to go, yeah, well, we'll just go back to what we're doing before. Because why not?"
Yeah, but then the seeds, Venditti seeds, but this is what happens when he leaves out alone. Under technicality, he did nothing wrong, but you can't arrest him for what he might do.
Yeah, and we do cut back to Zod, and he let them go because he actually downloaded all the information from the ring, and he got the population, the military stuff, all the weapons capabilities of every planet that the Guardians have on their database. So he's planning something big.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's probably not happening this run now. I don't think. If it is, it'll be the very final 3-part arc.
But it's always important. Grant Morrison always said he liked to seed things so other writers could come in. So like Professor Pig, he really only did that one story with Professor Pig, and then he's let others come in and do other stuff with him. Yeah. So I wouldn't mind someone picking up, and it doesn't even have to be Green Lantern. It could be.
This could be picked up in a Superman Action Comics stuff.
Justice League Odyssey.
Yeah.
Spacefaring stuff. I just like how he's fleshed. He really has done a good job at fleshing out the cosmic side of beyond just the Green Lanterns. We've gotten the controllers, and I feel definitely that's where this is going because we have the Dark Stars.
It says Dark Stars is next. We do end on the final page is Hal basically going, sometimes this would be a lot easier if we just took out some of these threats permanently instead of just chucking them in a cell. And that's kind of and John saying, I've been there before. That's not police work though. That's war. And Hal doesn't respond to that. He just kind of flies off.
Well, I mean, after all the stuff that him and Kyle went through, John had to mitigate. But then again, each of the Lanterns feels like they have their own role to play, and that I haven't felt like that in a while, where they're all very well characterized, and it makes sense as to how John would feel versus Hal. So, it's really good. I hate that you have me reading it again.
I know, and I can see Peter's there going, maybe.
Yeah, it's good.
This is a fantastic issue. It really was.
The only time I haven't really enjoyed it was when they were doing the New God stuff. Just I feel like Venditti has a thing for the New Gods, but I don't like his take on them. So like the Orion stuff,
okay, it's not the best.
Yeah, it had great moments, like him talking with his dad.
The worst part of the book is outright the opening, where it's back and forth issue of Hal and the stuff, and then an issue without him, and you're doing the other stuff. Those Hal issues at the start are by far the worst stuff in the of the run. But once you get past that, it's been pretty solid. Like the New God stuff is a bit weaker than some of the other bits. That's fair, but it's not. It's never as bad as the other stuff. It's not unreadable bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth checking out.
We'll see.
So come by next week and I read all 40 issues.
Nah, that ain't happening. You know what my TV schedule's like now, Connor. That ain't happening. We'll move on then to something that I am very excited to talk about, which is the Terrifics #2, Geoff Lemire, Ivan Reis. This is continuing where we left off with the transmission from Tom Strong that was left around. They're on this cosmic, Galactus, not Galactus, And by the way, there was an announcement of some new book by Marvel this week with a family of 4 characters, which is completely irrelevant. It's redundant. We've got a book with 4 characters here that we don't need any other ones. It's fine.
Speaking of, we did get some news about this book that I do want to speak about. I forgot to mention, we didn't talk about at the start, but
oh sure, yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah, you're right.
We are getting another artist change. Doc Shaner is only on it for 3 issues.
Yeah, he's on 4th through 6th. Then we get another one. Inglesham, I want to say, is coming on.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's incredibly disappointing to me because I don't know. I feel like the consistency is lacking. It's not that any of the artists are bad. It's just, oh, I was really okay. This is Shayna's book. This is where I'm getting that fix, and I was looking forward to that.
But if it's handled and they're just 3-issue arcs, then that's cool.
No, it's true. I think it especially feels notable in this line, the New Age of Heroes, where they made this whole big deal about how, no, these are the artist books. The artists are credited on the front cover above the writers. They're credited as storytellers together, and they're credited first there as well. And it really feels like, well, it's not really if you're just shifting them every arc. It doesn't really matter.
I don't know, it's weird.
New Age of Heroes is kind of a mess. But I'll take it. I'll take a fun mess.
I mean, there was a couple of good books came out of it, and obviously Terrific's been the top of that pile.
Also, I'm just going to say that terrific is a better word than fantastic, so I'm just going to leave that there.
Okay, sure.
I'm not sure I can outright agree on that, but
no, I don't know about anyone else. I loved issue 2 as much as I loved issue 1.
Yes,
I have zero cooldown on this.
I get 2 books with Legion stuff. This is awesome.
Because this is like, it's basically, because this is a 3-issue arc, but then this issue picks up with them still in the giant. They get a little bit of backstory for Phantom Girl, which, by the way, am I the one who laughed a little bit when she said at the end of there's a 2-page like flashback layout spread, and at the end it was like, yeah, the escape pod was only big enough for me, so they sent me off, but my dad miscalculated, and instead I get pulled into this dark multiverse, and my parents survived instead.
Yeah.
So
darkly funny.
So I'm gonna point out some Guardian stuff, some Legion stuff here.
Go on.
Because they're on their way to Bismol, which that's where Matter Eater Lad's from. And they're going to the Magna Ball Championships. That's what Cosmic Boy. That's where he came from. He was like a world-class athlete in Magna Ball. So just the fact that Lemire and Reis are playing around with that stuff, like it's closer. Like
look at you being excited.
Yeah. Well, and also with the way timey-wimey works, like this is definitely Phantom Girl. So did it send her back in time?
No, it's a different one. I remember this happening, seeing this when the first issue came out. I can't remember her name now, but it's a different Phantom Girl.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean that's fine. Yeah. Still Bismol and the Magna Championship. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I had fun with that. Obviously, they put this big rod that's connected to the device that gives them the Tom Strong message, and it wakes up the giant, and they're freaking out, so they race back to the portal.
I love when Plastic Man, he stretches all the way out to look up, and he goes, hey guys.
No, it's just super fun. And they get through the portal. We get the fingertips cut off through because the big giant hands coming through, and they close the portal, and it just cuts them. And I like that. I really like the moment after the flashback where like Metamorpho goes to hug Phantom Girl, and he's like, oh, there's oh shit, oh sorry. Yeah. And it's just a fun piece, even because we didn't get as much of her playing in with the rest of them last issue. It was mostly the other 3. So even here, like Plastic Man's like, oh, I'm going to throw up when he sees like Rex with the girl, and she's like, no, I think they're sweet together. It's like, okay, so we're getting how they're going to play off each other. This is nice. And the Plastic Man's like, oh, I didn't go back to an egg. This is good. On me. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Good news. But I actually really like that. Trevor's like, okay, I'm going to help you. I'll figure out how to like turn you back to corporeal, because when she gets back, she can be corporeal again, but she instantly starts exploding everything she touches, so she has to go back to being Phantom. And Trevor's like, okay, I'll help you, I promise, but it's not as important right now as figuring out what that message meant and making sure that portal doesn't open again. So he goes on his T-ship and he's flying off, and then of course we get the big reveal at the end is that whatever's happened to them in that dark multiverse world, they are now bound together because his ship slots back round through the building. It gets out, and they're all like, wait, whatever's happened, we're all connected, we can't separate. So this is like they're forced to be a team for a while, and I assume that what will happen is that when they eventually like break this and they fix it, they'll just want to be together as a team. Yeah. They'll move forward like that. But anyway, I just love that Rex, as he leaves, like, damn, that guy's a dick.
Yeah, he just goes, what a dick.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Perfectly timed. I also love Metamorpho and Plastic Man. It's already shades of that Thing and Flaming Guy.
Oh yeah.
And we got another actual like Fantastic Four reference in this one. Obviously, so we've had the team as a whole, the not Galactus, but when they're escaping from that, Plastic Man turns into a surfboard, basically, for Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
I thought that was, very much the image of that, and the way he kind of streaked round behind it as well, really looked Silver Surfer-esque.
Yeah, no, I can see it. So, no, Trevor's just still a blast.
If the main villain shows up and his name rhymes with Dan Slott, we'll know what Lemire is up to.
No, I'm thinking like, I don't know, Corporal Bad News or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be some sort of stupid play on it, isn't it?
Instead of Doctor, it'll be an army rank or something, and then instead
Professor.
of Doom, it'll be Professor. I don't know. What's another word for Doom?
Professor Entropy. There you go.
Professor. I've got a bad feeling about this. That'll be his name.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't have a thesaurus. If I had a thesaurus at hand, I'd be like,
I almost feel like that role's gonna be Stag.
I can see it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Could have kind of set him up. No, that's true. So no, I think this is pure like over the top Silver Age wackiness, and I'm digging it so far.
It's why I'm so excited for Doc Shaner on this, because his style suits that.
Oh, it does,
so perfectly.
Yeah. And as much as it's changing again, I will say that the page that they put out with this news, this new artist, it did look good.
It looks, which is why I'm not criticizing any of the artists individually. Like, they're all strong artists. It just feels kind of strange.
And hey, maybe it'll be like a rotating between arts. Then maybe Doc will be back for the arc after.
Yeah, maybe. I will say the art I enjoyed the most in this was the flashback with the faded colours and stuff.
That was nice.
That looked really nice.
I think my favourite's probably the 2-page spread of like seeing the giants waking up and Plastic Man's heads stuck out.
That's also pretty great. Yeah,
all the good stuff.
It's coming out through the ribs.
Well, also in the Kirby dots again, the energy.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's so good.
So that's
and then I really love that last page. Them all standing there because it's very that other team.
Yeah, absolutely. So Terrific is still a complete blast. Highly recommend. If you're not picking it up, make sure you do. Give it a chance. Because I don't want this to be cancelled. All the other New Age books, even the ones I'm liking, like I see them all kind of ending after 12 issues. I hope this one doesn't. I want this one to last. So everyone support it. Go buy Terrifics.
Yeah.
So we'll move on then to Teen Titans number 18. Benjamin Percy writing, Scot Eaton on the art. This is the next part of the 80s being Green Arc, where Beast Boy is kind of being seduced into this like tech company that's doing this fancy VR stuff, but it's really just a front to take control of people's minds, which of course Robin and the Teen Titans are investigating. So basically they realise, oh, there's a show, we've found this stuff, it's kind of off the grid, like they're not like a registered company in the traditional sense, but we've found this show where they're going to like show off their new tech. So Robin and the Teen Titans go in civvies so they're not sticking out, and I'm like, Starfire sticks out no matter what she's wearing. What you
Yep.
Shut up, guys.
Come on. And I love that though, because the girl that's there is like, oh, what, what contacts are you using to hide your pupils? And she's like, but what students do I have to hide? Like, I love.
That was a funny joke.
Clueless, but the line that took it for me was when Wally, Kid Flash, goes, it looks like 1992 threw up all over Damien.
And he does look like he's a kid from a 90s movie from the early 90s.
He's got the deep V-neck, the sunglasses, and the oversized button-down.
I love it.
That was it. It's just like, goddamn, Percy.
Yeah, and they're also playing with the fact that Kid Flash and Raven are totally into each other.
Yep.
They're playing with that. Honestly, the weaker part is probably Beast Boy being like, all the stuff with Beast Boy and the evil girl who's kind of like talking him into all this. Like, it's fine, it's not bad, but like it was definitely, I felt like there was too much of it. Like, this could have been maybe cut down a little bit. Like, I don't know. I do
like the Peter Pan parallels here.
Oh, sure.
I mean, the whole pirate ship. There she is, Peter Pan, who's all these lost children. And I always like when they explore the dark side of Pan, because it is a super dark story when you think about it. And both Beast Boy, I like seeing his potential future where he's on the Justice League, because we know no justice is coming.
Yeah,
and he's gonna get a chance to be with that. And
apparently his dream is to put a kick me sign on Superman, and then it'll make Batman laugh. That's his dream.
Yeah.
So
So I can dream. Maybe that's how Batman gets him. It's like, look, I'll help you out with the kick me prank if you join my team.
Yeah, maybe.
So, yeah, it's good fun. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a decent, solid issue. I like a lot of the little character beats. It wasn't a standout by any means, but it did, move a couple of things forward. What's funny though is to think that this is actually the last arc of Percy's run. Really, that's bizarre. Compared to his Green Arrow run, this has definitely been just kind of not a prominent run by any means. It's just kind of been like, okay, it was fine. It was trucking along. It did some fun little things here.
It's done its purpose. It's at the broad strokes of Teen Titans. I'm excited to see where it's going. Because it's so different. It's such a departure. I just want to know what Percy's going to be working on because I know he's got the Nightwing stuff coming up, but that's only for a couple of issues, right?
No, he's the full writer on Nightwing.
Oh, is he the full?
Yeah.
I thought he was just filling in for like 3 issues.
No, there's a fill-in before we get to him, I think. But then, then Percy from May, I think, onwards is.
Well, then I am super stoked because that's one of my current favorite writers writing one of my favorite characters. So, win-win.
I mean, that's only 1 issue a month, so he very well could be announced as on something else later on. But but that's what he's on, is Nightwing, starting in May. So, it's exciting. So. But not a whole lot to say on this show, but it's fun enough for what it is, and has some good moments, like we mentioned. So we shall move on to Mera, Queen of Atlantis #2. So Connor can keep quiet for another couple of minutes whilst we talk about this.
You're not reading this, Connor?
You didn't like the first issue.
No, I got like halfway through the first issue.
I know, but I figured you just the Ocean Master stuff from here, and you would have. Want to hop back in?
Oh no, I'm not putting myself through it.
Honestly, that's probably my biggest criticism is that it feels more like an Ocean Master mini than it does a Mera mini at this point.
Yeah, I don't like that it's called Mera, but it's more about Ocean Master. That said, I love the Ocean Master stuff.
Yeah,
because I like the complexity of him. Like, so he's learned to love the surface world, but he still wants to take care of Atlantis, and so kind of looks down at the surface world. So it adds this layer to him that I really enjoy, and just the way that he talks down to Mera.
Because it's bookended by him, like, we see his family waking up and he's not there, and they get the note, and then at the end, just as he's about to kill Mera, they show up and see him do this, and he's got a costume, so that's the bookended. But most of the issue is a conversation between him and Mera, and it was mostly pretty riveting, because it was like the fun moment of him, like, when he's like, oh, Atlantis has no king, or no, like, leader, and she's like, no, it does, I'm the queen. And he's like, what? Yeah. You're not even Atlantean, you Zebel scum.
Yeah, Zebel scum. That's such a great phrase. But, yeah, he turns. He goes from being the sympathetic, well, I want to do what's right by Atlantis, to you bottom feel like he's just, he's old Atlantis.
He tries to walk off to go to Atlantis, and she just sort of grabs his arm, and it's not like a super like threatening or violent grab or anything like that. But you turn the page to this double page spread of him just throwing her away. He's like, "Get your peasant hands off me!" And I'm like, "Damn it!"
Yeah.
Just when we were starting to be sympathetic.
Yep.
Like, and Mera actually gets her powers back for like a split second, and she like managed to do a little bit of water bending, but then it goes away, and Tula has to jump in and try and help. It's a whole thing.
So, correct me on this. So, Tula and Ocean Master and Orm are full brother and sister.
Half brother sister.
They're half brother and sister. Okay,
yeah.
But so is Arthur and Orm. So, who's Tula's dad?
Oh,
because we know they all share the same mom. Was that ever revealed?
Does Tula share the same? Is Tula related to Arthur as well?
Tula must have the...
Yeah.
Well, because they called her at one point Aquaman's sister, but that might just be for sake of clarity.
It's confusing. I thought it was... So Arthur and Orm are half-brothers because of their dad.
Right.
Right?
From the mom, right? They share a mom.
Is it the mum?
Yeah, because remember she was the queen.
Oh, so yes, I'm sorry. For some reason in my head I thought it was the dad who was the Atlantean, but now you're right. It's the mum who's Atlantean. So it's because of the mum. And then I assumed it's Orm's father who shares with Tula.
With Tula.
That's why I think it is, but I could be wrong. Aquaman superfans, let us know in the comments. Clarify this detail.
Yeah, because you read that too. That Tula that says that it's Aquaman's sister.
Yeah.
For the sake of clarity.
But I've never thought of her as Aquaman's sister, so that threw me. So yeah, so that's what I think it is. I think they're connected by different parents, therefore she's not related to Aquaman.
Gotcha.
I think.
I mean,
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so there's a lot of referencing because Mera in our dialogue or in our narration or the third person narration, whatever one it was saying, oh, he's like he almost had everyone that won at war with the surface and like he did all this stuff. References Throne of Atlantis and all that stuff, right. And it's like no, I like that it's bringing in the continuity and I like that it's treating this like a big deal. I like that he's like appalled that she's going to be queen. Yeah. And he's determined to go after her. And she's like, no, just stay here with your family. Like, you're wanted for so much stuff. You caused, like, the surface wants your head for what you did. Like, you killed so many people in Boston. Like, that's brought up in depth.
Yeah, he's been able to lay low since Forever Evil. Because they don't call it that, but they hint that he was able to escape. And he's been living in Louisiana. Because he was in, what's the one that the Suicide Squad operates? Belle Reve. He was being kept in Belle Reve. And whatnot. So when he escaped, but yeah, I really like what they're doing with him because it's different shades of Atlantis. Because even when she brings up Quorum Wrath, he remembers who that was from his time as king. And it's like, well, he couldn't be king. There's no way. They would never let a ninth Strider. This is he doesn't say that, but that's his attitude.
Yeah. You get what he means. Yeah. So no. Yeah, obviously it was better than this month's Aquaman issue, which was kind of a misstep of an issue.
Yeah, I wasn't here to talk about that last, and I just didn't care about Wraths. I almost wish we didn't get on there.
Yeah, it was basically what we said last week. Is it was a fill-in issue. That's what it was because they were waiting for the artist to be ready for the next arc. Clearly, so we got a fill-in, and unfortunately,
we were of the opinion we'd have rather had the delay and just not bothered with the fill-in issue.
Yep, I'm right with you guys.
Because basically that's what I was saying is that Abnett. When he's got a direction, he's great. When he has to kill time, he's rough, and that's what that last issue was. So anyway, but no, I'm liking this for the arm stuff. The arm stuff's quite good. So I'm down. I'm curious to see what he's going to do, and now that he's not his wife, but he's like his girlfriend and her son are seeing this because he was going to take the kid. Was it fishing?
Fishing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I was going to say, is that too on the nose? Am I remembering this wrong? No. But no, it was fishing.
No, he's going to teach him how to fish, and I just like that side of him, that he hated the surface, but now through this, it's kind of Starman-esque, too, right? Because he's the king of this, or not Starman, but, Guardians version of that. Like with, but yeah, so we'll see where it goes. I'm excited. I like this series, because I have a soul, unlike Connor.
I'm sorry, I thought it was rough. What do you want me to
do? That sums it up. Connor's not got a soul. So, no, still enjoying it. Not blowing me out of the water, no pun intended or anything, but solid enough. I'm liking the arm stuff. So we'll move on then to the final book of the week. So still Abnett, actually. Dan Abnett writing, John Romita Jr. on the art. This is the Silencer number 3, a.k.a. DC's Joanna Wick series. Yeah. So
this might be my favourite issue of the series yet.
That's a fair statement. This was mostly one big action sequence of the Silencer having to fight her way out of the gun store. What did they call it? The mall something mall. I don't know.
It was Mall Mart.
Mall Mart. There you go. Which is their like sort of secret gun like cash store thing that they all use. And basically, Remedy and a bunch of soldiers are there to take her down. Robot soldiers at that, and she basically, this is something that I considered her using her powers for, that I thought was a nice touch, is that she puts their quiet bubble around their guns, so that if she's shooting people and she doesn't want to like give her position away, they won't be able to tell where the gunshots came from because they won't hear them.
Yeah, and she does things like she throws like a flash grenade, and then uses the turns on her power then, so the flash grenade lasts like 20 seconds instead of like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting stuff. So, so it's really a fun action issue of her using her powers and like going through like all these guys. Obviously, the big thing at the end is that she calls Talia and all that, and she's like, "I want to get out of this. I don't want to live like this." And clearly, that's not going to be a choice for her right now. But the big twist ending is that Deathstroke is coming into play. He's got one of the robot heads from the thing, because obviously she's like, shit, they were willing, like, whoever's behind this, the big boss man, was willing to kill Remedy and all of his men, because they actually blew up the entire building, because he just keeps saying over the phone to Remedy, he's like, so you can confirm she's in the building, and it's just lucky that she happened to steal a tank, and was out the door with a tank, when the missile hit the building and blew up everyone else.
Yeah, a full satellite orbital missile they used on this building to try and get her.
And at the end, Deathstroke's got one of the robot heads and is like trying to like get that out of it to like see what happened and what's going on.
Oh, I was really into this issue.
I was as well. So this has proven to be a fun action series so far.
And I'm super excited for not having Romita Jr.
I
next
know,
issue.
Bogdanovich is coming on next issue, so that should be good.
That said, honestly, this wasn't bad. As far I think Romita's at his best during action sequences.
Oh yes, no, this is why the art's probably the best of the 3 issues so far, because it's mostly action.
It's very little facial animations that need to be done.
It wasn't until the end where she's like with the kid again, she's buying him ice cream because she was late picking him up from school.
Yeah.
That it was like, okay, right, we're back to facial expressions, which is his weak point. But
but all the action did look pretty solid.
Yeah. No, it was a thrilling issue of action-packedness.
It was. It's a quick read, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad I stuck with this one.
Yeah. So obviously we'll talk about issue 4 next month, and
definitely.
Yeah. So no, Silence was good. Silence was a lot of fun, I think. And it's easily the second best of the New Age books what we've had so far. Obviously,
that and terrific.
We still have half of it to come, but so far.
Yeah, I'm excited for new challengers. That should be coming up somewhat soon.
Yeah. I'm still optimistic about Sideways. I'm still optimistic about Sideways from what I've read so far, but definitely I'd put this above it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Immortal Men the next one we're getting?
I don't know, because we got the Immortal Men preview in the back of the books this week, and we got the new challengers.
Yeah.
So those are both coming soon.
I think they're both May or April. Maybe one's April. Yeah, they're both coming up next night.
That's cool. I
know Brimstone and Unexpected are soon as well. I think Brimstone's first, and then Unexpected is like July. So there's all these things coming.
Oh, the Curse of Brimstone is next week.
Is that next week?
Yeah.
I should have that on my list then when we get to the end.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Maybe I don't. So, no, Silence is solid. It's good fun. So, I recommend checking it out. If you like action stories, I think.
And I don't know why Matt's not reading this. I guess because he doesn't have a soul.
No, I have a soul. I just don't have enough time in the day. So.
He's
drawn a line somewhere.
I have to.
For some reason,
you draw the line at Wonder Woman before this.
Yeah, but because I expect good things. I see Romita and I'm just like, no. So that's my visceral reaction.
There's some logic there, I suppose. I can't deny that.
He's a nice guy. I've met him at cons. He's very nice. So it's not, his art's not my thing.
Well, that does take us on to the end of the show, and by the end of the show, I mean picking our favourite things of the week. This is what we always do when we're done talking about the books. Pick our favourite moment / panel, pick our favourite cover, favourite art, and our top 5 books of the week. So, Connor, panel / moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna go subvert because I feel like there's Doomsday Clock and Metal. It's easy to pick panels from that, and I feel like they're not even worth mentioning by comparison because we've sure they're all up there. We know that.
They're full of money moments. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Hal Jordan. And it's the 2-page spread of the giant plane coming to hit Zod in the back, because that is such a great moment. And I didn't expect that from that book in the way that I expected the moments from Doomsday Clock and Metal.
Okay. Matt?
So mine definitely comes from Doomsday Clock and Metal, but I had a hard time deciding which one. The hardcore Legion fan really wants me to do the Jane Doe stuff, but that's not in and of itself that exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But the epilogue scene from Metal, where they go to the Batman party and Swamp Thing's wearing the bow tie.
I can't fault it.
As a Julius
Alfred has his tie on as a headband. I
can't fault.
So much fun.
Yeah, I can't fault it. I can't fault picking the hole just at the end either. I'm actually going to ultimately pick something that's not Metal, but I do want to give a shout out to one in Metal. I mentioned it when we talked about it. Is the moment Batman appears with the Batman who laughs. That moment was
pretty good.
Yeah.
That was that hit me. I was like, oh shit, they've not encountered each other yet. How does Batman tackle him? Like, that was really exciting to me in that moment. That said, I'm actually going to go with the Power Ranger shot from Flash with all the speedsters lined up.
I figured you were going to because you spent so much time.
Yeah. I showed my hand a little bit, I'll admit, but I did really like that moment.
Yeah. It's a great panel. Yeah, this has been a fantastic week of books.
Oh, this was super exciting. Even if you take out the event books, like even the regular books, I feel like Flash, Batgirl, and Terrific.
I mean, even just the fact that me and you, Pete, are picking panels that are not from the 2 big books.
I know, yeah.
That's saying something.
Yeah, we never actually mentioned Gary Frank's art, but just to mention that was phenomenal.
It's almost not worth saying.
I know
right?
we don't have to, but we didn't, and I want to mention it. Actually, one thing I want to mention, just something we didn't mention in Metal, just it's a very small thing, but they do have Barbatos locked up somewhere in chains. Like, that was a panel. I just want to point that out. So that'll take us on to picking the best cover of the week. So, do you know, obviously Metal's one that's easy to go for. I'm actually going to go for an unconventional choice here. I'm actually going to go with the Terrifics. I love how zany and Silver Age it feels, just and silly. I like it.
No, that's fair.
It's just pure joy. I like it. Obviously, Doomsday Clock's an obvious one with a stack of pancakes, or the variant with Rorschach with the flames behind them.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
You go with that one? Okay, I can't fault it. Matt?
Yeah, this one's tough because there's a lot of good stuff on there, but I think I'm gonna go with the Batgirl variant. It's got her. Good. Yeah, it's got her. With, with the flashlight, the monsters behind her and Gordon, and it just.
In fact,
it looks like a dime store novel cover.
If I recall correctly, I liked that so much that I put it in the thumbnail for this. I was in the image.
Okay. There you go. I would like just a shout out to the Wonder Woman variant this week. I thought it was particularly good.
Yeah,
Actually, maybe I didn't put that in the image because I had to put in Metal and Doomsday Clock for obvious reasons because they're the big things. I might have put in Terrifics as a third thing, or was it Batgirl? It was one of the two. But the point is, those were the two I was deciding between because I like those both so much. So that'll take us on to best art of the week. So we got Gary Frank on Doomsday Clock. We got Greg Capullo on Metal.
And we got Giandomenico on Flash.
We got Giandomenico on Flash. Yeah, we have all these things to pick from. Matt.
Oh, that's Frank. I can't not. He's one of my favorite artists. And this is such a subdue. It's a really subdued issue, but the stuff he does with the facial expressions, like just show Rorschach flying off the handle in the mental hospital, where he goes from calm to just rage.
It's honestly boring, but I have to agree and go with Frank.
No, that's fair. I think
I loved Domenico on Flash this week, and obviously Capullo's great, but I have to go with Frank on Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
Frank is flawless. However, I'm gonna give it to Capullo for one reason. The fact that epilogue shifted style completely, and it looked pretty damn great. And like to the point where I thought, wait, is this even still Capullo? I thought this was Jan, and I was checking. Like that impressed me. And Frank is obviously as masterful as ever. But I think that versatility from Capullo wanted to be highlighted.
There you go. So that'll do us out to top 5 books of the week. So Connor, you're up first.
Oh God, pressure! The pressure.
This is a hell of a week to be doing this. So
I know.
Search your heart.
I might have to start at 5 on this one because I need more time to think about which one's going at 1.
I
don't know if I can do it. So I'm going backwards. 5 is going to be the Terrifics. 4 is going to be Flash. 3 is going to be Hal Jordan. 2 is going to be Doomsday Clock, and 1's Mel. There we go. I didn't know what I was going to say until it came out.
Oh man,
Matt, what's your top 5?
So my number 1 is Metal. And it's just this, rock and roll ending to this big event, and we all know how much I love continuity, and this kicks all that down for that. And then we talked about how much of a, not disappointment's the wrong word, but just overhyped, I guess, I was for Doomsday Clock. So that's number 2. Number 3 is Flash. 4 is Terrifics, and 5 is Batgirl.
Yeah. Well, clean sweep. Number 1's Metal. I think it just hit all the right notes that it wanted to, and it was better than I was expecting. Doomsday Clock, again, I think disappointing is harsh a word, because I still think it's fantastic. So it is my number 2, and I love reading it, and I love everything that it's setting up.
I think I'm just glad that Metal was against this issue of Doomsday Clock.
Oh yeah, any other issue and it'd have failed. Any other issue would have beat this Metal.
Yeah, definitely.
So, hell of a week though. I mean, that's just number 1 and 2 is Metal 6 and Doomsday Clock is number 2. Number 3, Flash. Number 4, Terrifics. Number 5, Batgirl.
It was a great week. It
Hell of a
feels
week.
good to have such a good week.
Wait,
I
did
feel
he
like the
and
last
Pete
few
exactly
have been
line up?
kind of, you know.
Did was ours exact, Matt, or was Terrifics and Batgirl swapped around? I can't remember.
No, Batgirl was 5 for me. Terrifics was 4.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, what a week! I might have to change mine.
What?
Can't line up Pete. But I can't change it because those are my top 5. I just
hell of a week. No, week 2 was good as well. I think week 1 and 3 this month felt a little bit more, especially week 1. Week 1 was a.
That's fair. 2's the one I missed, admittedly.
Yeah, no, 2 was good as well because 2 had a miracle and a fantastic issue of something else. There was something else I was really excited about week 2. I can't remember now, but there was something.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, so that is, there you go. That's our picks for the week. Hell of a week. I'm almost feeling bad for next week because next week's going to feel like nothing in comparison. But still, we'll find out. We'll see. And what's coming next week? That's a good question. So coming next week, we have Batman 44, Superman 44, Justice League 42, Green Lanterns 44, Green Arrow 39. So that's a fill-in because we don't have the new run for a while. Nightwing 42 is out. Deathstroke 30, Curse of the Brimstone number 1 as mentioned. Batman White Knight number 7's out. And then on top of that, that's what we're covering. Also coming out that we won't be covering is Black Lightning Cold Dead Hand 6 potentially, or did that may get pushed?
No, it's still there.
Is it there? All right, Deadman number 6, Harley Quinn 41. And Cyborg 21, which I believe is the return and the start of Marv Wolfman's run on the book.
That makes sense. Wasn't it Nightwing's going to be a fill-in issue as well, right?
Yes.
Percy starts right away.
Yeah, there's 2 fill-in issues next month, and then Percy starts in May, and that's when it goes single shipping.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny that they still had double shipping for when it's fill-ins for a month, but whatever.
I know for a fact they're previously written stories anyway. They were all ready to go. They were just in the archives that they've kind of just pulled out. Yeah.
Interesting. So it's a 2-parter, so I think that's probably why.
Yeah, it was just something they pulled out of the archive from a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Interesting. So it'll be a weird couple issues of Nightwing then.
Yeah.
But hey, so that's the week.
Deathstroke's the start of the Deathstroke of this Batman.
Oh, that could be exciting.
Yeah.
Could be exciting. We'll get the wrap up of the Bizarro stuff, I think, or at least the next part of it.
Next part. Batman, something blue.
Yeah, we start the wedding sort of build up next issue. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got the Curse of Brimstone. White Knight's going to be almost at an end. It's the second to last issue next week.
So some stuff there. Still doesn't compare to this week at all, but
it doesn't. But
stuff there.
I think I'm more excited for this week one than I was last month.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like now we're killing time until No Justice and Bendis Superman and all that stuff starts.
Yeah, April's kind of a waste of a month, isn't it?
April's just the calm before the storm properly starts in May. May's the big stuff, but hey ho, exciting all the same. But of course, April does have Action 1000 and our 100th episode special in the same week. So we're building up to that because this was episode 97, I want to say. So, we're getting there.
Yeah, 97.
So, hey. So, big things anyway. So, so a couple of quiet weeks, and then we're hitting with Action Special, and then the 100 Special. So, let us know what you thought of this week's books, of course. NZ comments, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at DC Comics Podcast. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. There's a link in the description. We did have our monthly episode go up last week, I think. We did have that go up. That was the GSA by Johns we did this month. But of course, you get one of them every month, so you can look forward to those. I think next month we are doing Green Lantern Earth 1. That was the new Earth 1 that came out this month, so I think we're going to do that for next month's, so you can look forward to that. But otherwise, that is us. So this has been episode 97 of Comics from the Multiverse. We love you loads. By all means, check out all the other stuff and all, television from the Multiverse that me and Connor do every week as well. But that is us. So thank you once again. Keep reading DC Comics and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Has anybody seen Nathaniel Dusk? I'm starting to get worried.